At 3 Business, we think you should get more for less. With our boundless business offer, the whole team gets unlimited calls, data, and texts. And the more SIMs you buy, the more you'll save. All on the UK's fastest 5G network. That's what we call big value. Search 3 Business or visit us in store.
Unlimited in the UK, based on Ookla speed test intelligence data H1 2023. C3.co.uk.
Clyde One's Super Scoreboard podcast with Lookers Audi. Hop by the Glasgow, Hamilton, Ayr, Stirling or Edinburgh Lookers Audi between the 25th and 29th of April to take advantage of enhanced offers on the fully electric range. The team with the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Well, in the early kick-off, Rangers got the result they wanted. It maybe wasn't in the style that fans would have liked to have seen, but in a title race it doesn't matter too much. They have the 3 points. They're level on points with Celtic in the Premiership now, and we now turn to Dens Park. Dundee against Celtic. Let's go back to Dens Park, get a recap of those teams and a bit of build-up with Fraser Wishart.
Yeah, I think it's the way it's going to be from now to the end of the season. Both teams, both sets of fans looking at the opposition and looking at the results, and the Celtic fans getting to fill into my left-hand side. They'd been really interested half an hour ago when Rangers were struggling, but of course the Rangers fans will now be breathing a sigh of relief after getting that goal and getting the 3 points. But I think they'll be looking at games where Celtic might drop points other than the Old Firm clash which come up in a couple of weeks. I think they've probably looked at this game with Dundee in a bit of decent form and getting into top 6 and away to Kilmarnock. Celtic are away to Kilmarnock on the 15th of May as the most probable places they will drop points, and Dundee has said excellent season. They'll be hunting St Mirren. They'll have enjoyed the fact that Rangers won because the 5th place gets them into Europe, and they really top off a fantastic season for Tony Docherty and his players. And of course last time out they drew 0-0 with Rangers, a result that's seen Celtic just have a lead now of 3 points at the top of the table and a driving seat for the title. And Celtic, because of their really good form, they've hit at the right time. They've got key players back like Carter Vickers and Hatate, they're back fit, and since they lost to Hearts at Tynecastle on the 3rd of March, they've scored at least 3 goals in each of their last 6 games. But you do think there's a wee bit of vulnerability from time to time with Celtic. You saw that last week when they lost the 3 goals to Aberdeen. They lost 3 at Celtic as well, throwing away the lead on both occasions. So this is a game, it's not a gimme. Dundee have players that can cause problems like some McCowan and Milligan in midfield have been excellent, and at the back Dundee will have to be vigilant though, because they've got the likes of Furuhashi and James Forrest of course is the man who's coming into the team on that left hand side. They'll be a real threat, but Celtic know they can't afford to slip up. The title's in their hands and every win brings it a bit closer, but I think this will be a bit of a test for Celtic, although in the 3 games this year it's 13-1 on aggregate for Celtic against Dundee. But just quickly give you the team lines. 4 changes for Dundee. Shaughnessy and Cameron drop out completely through injury, and Costello and Donnelly drop to the bench. In come Lamy, Mulligan, Dodgson and a back Boateng. They're going with a 4-5-1 formation. John McCracken in goals, a back 4, Jordan McGee, Antonio Portales, Ricky Lamy and Owen Dodgson. Across the middle, Josh Mulligan, Mohamed Sila, Malaki Boateng, Lick McCowan and Scott Tiffany, with Amadou Bakayako as the lone striker. Subs are Sharp, Astley, Main, Lamy, Robinson, Robertson, Boateng, Mellon, Donnelly, Howley and Costello. For Celtic it's just that one change, as we said earlier. No surprise, James Forrest is the man that's come in. Brendan Rodgers talking about him in glowing terms during the week, and he comes in to replace Yang, who drops to the bench. So 4-3-3, Joe Hart in goals, Alistair Johnson, Cameron Carter Vickers, Liam Scales and Greg Taylor at the back. Across the middle, Matt O'Reilly, Callum McGregor and Rio Hatate, with Nicholas Kuhn, Kyogo Furuhashi and James Forrest as the front 3. Bain, Palma, Ida, Navroki, Iwata, Bernardo, Kelly, Ralston and Yang are the subs, and the referee today at Dens Park is John Beaton, and the VAR is the VAR specialist Andrew Dallas.
Yes, does that result in Paisley add just a bit of extra pressure onto Celtic to get the result now?
Of course, it has to be that way. They're now level on points. Celtic are better off by 4 goals now instead of 5. For Celtic today, the object of the exercise, I think, is to get Kyogo, Forrest, O'Reilly doing more things right than the Celtic defence does things that are wrong. They've got to be better than the defence, because the defence at some point will let Celtic down this afternoon, and they've got to be better at the other end to make sure that defensive mistakes don't cost Celtic the game.
Yeah, 3-0 at home in the first game between these two this season for Celtic, of course. It was a 3-0 win at Dens Park in the only other game at Dens Park, and then that 7-1 win back in February at Celtic Park. So Celtic certainly have a very good record over Tony Docherty's side this season.
Without doubt. I think the last two games are the most important ones, of course. I think it was Boxing Day, Celtic went up there. That's a huge fixture, and it could have been quite a sticky one for Celtic, but managed to get the job done that occasion. Then the 7-1, Dundee just capitulated. However, it was probably Celtic's best performance of the season, that game, and everybody was on song on that evening. They're going to need a similar performance to the go at Boxing Day. Up there, they're going to have to be resolute. They're going to have to be, a lot more compact than they showed last week against Aberdeen on a big Hampden pitch. But Hugh's right, going forward, they're going to have to take their opportunities when they come along, and they've got plenty of firepower in there. What you think of Kuhn, he's still a threat. Kyogo will get you goals, and James Forrest, he's the big news returning. What can he give Celtic this afternoon when they really need him?
Yeah, they'll be hoping for a better day than Ange Postecoglou's having 3-0 down at home in the North London derby with just 39 minutes gone in that game. So it seems to be with Tottenham that they're sort of one way or the other quite often under them. But back to Dens Park, James Forrest, I'm sure he'll be delighted to be in the starting lineup. He'll be eager to show that he feels he can play a big part between now and the end of the season.
I've said it all season. I think that we get to a certain stage with players, and the minute they become a certain age, we're writing them off. I think Forrest has still got a lot to offer Celtic. The reason he's got all those medals, won all those trophies, is because he's a very good player. Now, he's not went back the way. I think Brendan Rodgers has just given him that G up of, I maybe should have played him a lot more. I think that was because he come on last week. Brendan Rodgers knew he was going to play him in this game. He's built his confidence up more and more and more. Not that Forrest needs it, because he's a very experienced player. Look, Celtic, I'm looking at team lines. They're probably nearly 90% to their strongest starting 11. That's a good start for them today. Dundee have missing a couple of players in defence, important players to them. If Celtic play their capabilities this afternoon, Celtic will win this game easily at Dens Park. If they don't and they're off it, Dundee can cause problems.
In terms of league matches, James Forrest has played 18 times this season, but that only equates to 379 minutes of football. That's just over sort of four worth 90 minutes essentially. He's got 3 goals as well. It's a good return.
I have to see it in simplistic terms. James Forrest is 10 times the player Yang is. Therefore, there should be no.
You just don't like Yang, do you?
No. I mean, he's not up to.
But the thing is, Brendan Rodgers hasn't seen it that way, has he? Because he's preferred Yang to James Forrest on plenty of occasions this campaign.
Well, I repeat, James Forrest is 10 times the player Yang is, and you need players now. Rangers have gone level on points with Celtic. It's now a test of nerve. The whole afternoon becomes a test of nerve, mental strength, call it what you like. But Celtic, if they leave anything behind in Dundee, we're really in for a title race here. And I go back to the evidence of not only last weekend, losing 3 goals to Aberdeen, 1 early, 1 in the last minute of regulation time, 1 in the last minute of extra time. I go back over the season. Celtic, the team who used to have the habit, deservedly recognised as being the team that scored late goals, are now the team that concedes late goals.
I've got to say, Hugh, I know what you're saying, right? But Yang just now isn't going to win you the league for Celtic. We know that. But let's take into consideration, he's a 21-year-old lad. He's come over here. He's in a different country. He's playing different style of football. If you look at his career, he's not played a lot of football, right? I'm not arguing the fact. I would play Forrest all day long. I think right now Forrest is as good as any of them in the wide areas. But Yang, I think, will be for the next year or two, whatever. This is now down to the serious part of the league, the business side of it. I think he's quite right going with guys that know how to get the job done, and James Forrest comes into that bracket.
Because there is no way, if Celtic lose the title, you can say, now listen lads, we lost it because Yang's a developing player, and so is Paulo Bernardo, and so is Kuhn.
But I'm not saying that, but I just don't think we should because he's not performing now at that level that we should just automatically write him off and say, oh, he's not good, he's not this and that. The guy needs time to blend into a new club, a new country, new culture, everything. Now, in a year's time, 2 years' time, I might be standing here, if we're lucky enough, and totally agree 100% and say, Hugh, you got that, you called that early, spot on. The boy's 21. You know what I mean? He's hardly played football. He's in a massive club that are going for a title. There's a lot of pressure on him. I totally agree. I see him sometimes and I think, yeah, he's got good ability. I see him other times, I totally agree with you. But I just think that we go very quickly in players just now.
The front line interesting as well, because there was a real question going into every Celtic game at one point. Would it be Adam Idah? Would it be Kyogo? I think that's the 6th game in a row now that Kyogo started ahead of Adam Idah. Looks as if he's really sort of solidified himself as, you know, Celtic's undisputed number 9 once again. Yeah, he's your best bet, and I think he fits into the style that Brendan Rodgers wants to play as plan A. There's no doubt about that. When Hatate and O'Reilly are there in the midfield and McGregor's back now, Kyogo fits into that style. He'll run off the shoulder, he'll give options for those passes, he'll make it incredibly difficult to play against. I think Adam Idah at the minute finds himself firmly in plan B. When things aren't going well and they're not getting service to Kyogo, or they aren't getting in behind teams, you'll see Idah off the bench if that happens today. And that's what Celtic need to avoid. They need to avoid it being a scrap. They need to play the football that Brendan Rodgers likes to play, fast and to the point, really. If they do that, they'll get a result. But we'll get some reaction from the managers from the early game and more build up to Dundee against Celtic next.
And now a word from our podcast sponsor, Lookers Motor Group. They have Jaguar, Land Rover and Volvo showrooms across Glasgow and the West, so you can find the new or used approved car that is right for you. Land Rover showrooms can be found in Motherwell and Darnley, and Jaguar, Volvo and Land Rover showrooms found in Hillington. Right now at lookers.co.uk you can browse and shop 24/7, value your part exchange, order and take delivery from the comfort of your own home. Check out lookers.co.uk to get your new or used approved Land Rover, Jaguar or Volvo today, or even pop into the showroom local to you. Now, back to the podcast.
How exciting is it to play the British Heart Foundation's weekly flutter? Ka-ching! Exciting enough to get your heart racing. Just a little bit. Like texting a mate. The same time they text you. Like flipping pancakes with majestic grace. Or spotting that last parking space. Yes! With the added joy of knowing the money you donate helps to fund life-saving research. £1 to play, £1,000 to win every week. Search British Heart Foundation Weekly Lottery. See? It's a little bit exciting.
Gamble responsibly. Over 18s only. T's and C's apply. Please see our website for more details. British Heart Foundation is a registered charity.
At 3 Business, we think you should get more for less. With our boundless business offer, the whole team gets unlimited calls, data and texts. And the more SIMs you buy, the more you'll save. All on the UK's fastest 5G network. That's what we call big value. Search 3 Business or visit us in store.
Unlimited in the UK, based on Ookla speed test intelligence data H1 2023. C3.co.uk.
The team with the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
1 game down and 1 to go in the Scottish Premiership today. Rangers edging past St Mirren 2-1 in Paisley. They go level on points with Celtic, and now it's Celtic's time to respond. They are away at Dens Park to play Tony Docherty's Dundee as they look to extend the gap at the top of the table back to 3 points. And this just highlights the real pressure situation that both teams are in now, Hugh.
Well, this is what everyone enjoys. The supporters are forced into sleepless nights by it all. However, we wanted a title race worthy of the name. We haven't had one for years, and now we do have. And I like the ping pong effect. You know, Rangers have won 2-1, shabby performance, but won 2-1. And now Celtic have got to win. It's as simple as that. Got to win.
Brendan Rodgers saying on Friday that his team need to get their trophy heads on. This is the exact scenario he'll be looking for. It said he's confident that they'll be able to because of the proven track record they've got at this time of the season.
Well, he's got plenty of experience in his squad. Guys who know how to get the job done. Guys who, or a lot of that side, had the job done by this time last year. Remember, it was post split. Was it the first game it was done? Away at Tynecastle, but you know, they've got pressure on their shoulders. And I keep saying it, when you've got real pressure on your shoulders, it sometimes can go a different way. But when you've got McGregor and you've got Carter Vickers, who's a cool head in there, you know, James Forrest with his medals and experience, it certainly helps you in the dressing room within these situations. But again, it all comes down to how you perform on the pitch. You know, you could have all the experience in the world, all the medals, and been over the course and distance, but you could still go out there and play poorly. So Rodgers will be hoping that his players go out there, play at the top of their powers, and blow Dundee away.
I've got to be honest, Andrew, I'm listening to guys there. I look at today's fixtures. I thought there was more pressure on Rangers this afternoon. If Rangers had to lose in Paisley or drop points and Celtic won, you're not seeing any way back. If Celtic lose at Dens Park today, the only benefit for them is they're still top of the league in goal difference. They'll still get the next Rangers game at Parkhead, where they'll get in firm favourites. So I thought all the pressure was lumped on Rangers early. Now they've responded, and well done to them, because it was a scrappy game. Of course it was. It's all about 3 points. They achieved that. Today I'm looking at a Celtic team. It's not far off its strongest. There's good firepower in it. McGregor, Hatate, so important in the middle of the park with O'Reilly, who at times this season's been absolutely brilliant. If Celtic play to any of their potential, they'll win the game this afternoon.
As we do in this part of the world, we do tend to focus on the big two, Celtic and Rangers, but Dundee will have just seen St Mirren lose there to Rangers, and they'll feel that they maybe have an opportunity. Fraser Wishart today.
Yeah, absolutely. They want to be playing in Europe, Dundee. I'm sure it would just top off a fantastic season when Tony Docherty came in. They had a title winning team last year, but the manager had left, and he's changed the team around. I think 21, 22 new players, most of them on loan. So he's had to build a team, and I think he's done a terrific job. So yeah, if they can get a point here, then it will take them that bit closer to St Mirren and put them right on the tails. You think that the game between Dundee and St Mirren, when they eventually play, will be the deciding factor of who gets fifth place. We now know that's going to be Europe. So for teams like them and Kilmarnock, it's terrific. But you have to say, I don't think they're going to have any great confidence, Dundee, given the results this year. I think I said earlier, 13-1 is the aggregate score for Celtic this season in 3 games. So Celtic in great form as well, scoring lots of goals in recent weeks. So I think that's why there's a slight change, a 4-5-1, a slightly more defensive formation by Tony Docherty today than it was against Rangers a couple of weeks ago. I think he'll just want to stay in the game as long as he possibly can. But a point today they'd be absolutely delighted with, and if they could do that, then what a confidence that will give them for the remainder of the season.
Yeah, Stephen Robinson mentioned his side post-split last season, you know, maybe a bit of a sort of subconscious relaxing across the board, but just given how tight it is, Dundee in that similar situation where they've got into the top 6, they've achieved essentially what, you know, maybe people thought they wouldn't be able to this season, but because they still have Europe to grasp for, you'd expect to see a team really fighting over these next 5 matches.
Without question, starting today, Tony Docherty knows that the pressure subconsciously is on Celtic, because I don't agree with Gordon DL that if Celtic lose, okay, the Old Firm games at Celtic Park, they've got Hearts next weekend, Celtic, who have beaten Celtic home and away this season. I believe that every game Celtic should be targeting a win, and that applies very much so this afternoon at Dundee. My concern for Celtic would be the defence. Couldn't keep pigeons out of a loft.
Well, let's hear from Tony Docherty and Brendan Rodgers, shall we?
Any strengths that they've got we try and negate, and any weaknesses they've got we try and exploit, and that's what we're endeavouring to do on Sunday. And we'll really look forward to the fact that we're at home. You know, I think the home support have been fantastic this season. They were in the most recent game there against Rangers, and I'd be looking for them to, you know, contribute as well as much as they've done all season, because they've been outstanding. And again, I go back to that. You know, they must be proud of their team, because their team have just come up for being newly promoted. They've achieved all those objectives, and if anybody'd said at the start of the season maybe a possibility for the first time in 21 years getting to Europe, then I think they'd have taken that. But they've played a pivotal part, and I hope they do continue to do that on Sunday.
Listen, I think they've had good results right the way through the season. I think Tony's done a brilliant job, him and his staff. That there'll be stronger squads, I'm sure, in the league that will feel that they could have made the top 6. But I think the likes of Tony, what he's done You know, what the likes of Stephen Robinson has done at St Mirren, Derek Kilmarnock, they've really shown their coaching and managerial qualities. And in particular, Tony coming through and his first season in the Premiership as a manager. The job he's done is absolutely brilliant. So I expect them to play how they've played all season, which is with a collective spirit, work very, very hard for each other and give any team a problem.
With just a few minutes to go until kick-off, we'll go back to Dens Park next.
The winning team all season long. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Almost time for kick-off between Dundee and Celtic. Think we can go back to Dens Park for a final bit of build-up with Fraser Wishart.
Yeah, we're just about to kick off here, Andrew. The Celtic players in their huddle as they do before every single game. The teams have changed ends, so Celtic will be shooting down the hill, down the slope. They've got at Dens Park here in the first half towards their own supporters who are here in complete anticipation of 3 points and another great performance by Celtic. We know what's in it for them, we know what's in it for Dundee. Dundee will want to stay in the game for as long as they possibly can and maybe try and nick a goal on the break at some point, because Celtic will come here to try and dominate from the kick-off. They know 3 points is absolutely vital. They know the title is in their hands, and if they get a goal or two up, you never know, they might try and push for more, because goal difference could count at the very end of the season. So in the middle of the park in front of me, Matt O'Reilly is standing with the ball. John Beaton blows his whistle. At Dens Park, it's Dundee against Celtic.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. They're always looking for new people to join their community pharmacy team. Apply now.
Yes, underway in Dundee for Dundee against Celtic, part 2 of this Sunday double header. Rangers, of course, 2-1 winners over St Mirren earlier on. A prediction that Gordon Dalziel got correct. So time for you three to try and see if you can match what Gordon Dalziel did for the earlier game.
Dundee 2, Celtic 2.
Oh, it's controversial.
Yeah, I'll go Dundee 0, Celtic 2.
3-0 Celtic.
There we go. 3 pretty different results. Yeah, don't mind it. Bit of variety in there. You went for a draw in the earlier game, didn't
I did.
you,
I was close, Andrew. I was
No, you weren't
close.
close.
I had method to my
close.
prediction. Why was I not close?
Because it wasn't
It was
a draw.
2-1. I said it was going to be 1-1. That's close.
No, it's
you
not.
were correct. You got it spot
don't
on,
walk
but you
it-
cannot say that.
You don't walk
that-
into the bookies and
that
say, give me
2-1
my
isn't close
money
to
back.
1-1.
I was close. You weren't close.
No, I'm not saying that. I says I was close
To be
because both teams score. It was 1-1 for a long time. But well done to you. You called it 2-1.
Thank you. I like a bit of congratulations.
Yes.
Hugh, we'll just try and keep you in it for the first 2.5 minutes.
Stay quiet about Hughes earlier on.
James Forrest operating down the left, which he has done sort of more often than not in recent seasons, sometimes anyway. But I mean, you were so used to seeing him down that right wing, weren't you? Coming through his time at Celtic, but now out on the left has to offer something different, cutting in.
I wonder what he prefers. Obviously, that Brendan Rodgers prefers his wingers to come in the pitch. He's got Kuhn on that other side to come in on his left foot. Forrest will need to do the same in his right foot. But Maeda plays that way, doesn't he? Out in that position, right footed, and he has to come in as well, or he has to get to the touchline, and we quite often see his crosses blazed over with his left foot. I think Forrest's a wee bit more composed actually in that area than Maeda is.
I think Forrest is better now at his age and the experience coming off the left hand side. He's not one of these now that'll put the ball by you and go down the wing and whip balls in. He comes in, he's on that
An early
right foot
chance
there,
here,
yeah.
just slices that effort over the bar.
Nah, but swapping wings right away. But he can come in, he can bounce things off strikers. He can curl. We seen him at Hampden last week, curling one into the far corner, and there again he comes on that right foot. Not the best effort he's ever had, but good start.
I was wondering how he got so much space here, but then when you see the shot from behind the goal, you see Greg Taylor underlapping him, and he's the one that takes McGee in the pitch, and it's Mulligan that's trying to get back to Forrest. So definite ploy from Celtic to try and free up their wide men by taking the fullbacks back the pitch.
Yeah, 3 minutes gone at Dens Park so far. How's the surface looking?
Surface looking
It's
very
good,
good.
eh?
Yeah,
That's amazing to think that this pitch
was come under so much
was in the news every
criticism.
day.
It does appear to be raining in Dundee, but the pitch does look I wouldn't say first class because it's anything but it's playable.
How bad are my eyes, by the way? Because I have no idea whether it's raining or not from these photos.
No, they had a close-up.
Oh, was that a close-up? Right, okay.
Tony Docherty sitting in the stand.
Oh yeah, sitting in the stand. He's suspended for this one. I think it's four yellow cards he's picked up this season. So managers can be punished for a sort of accumulation of yellow cards as well. Don't see it all that often, really, but he's having to sit this one in the stand. He's never been the quietest, Tony, on the touchline, has he? Even as an assistant. And when he first started out at Dundee United as just a coach in Ian McCall's backroom team, he was a bit quieter then, but he's certainly got a loud voice now. Serving his suspension with his wee AirPod in. That's the method of communication. Just one AirPod.
Oh, here's a chance.
Yeah, an opening for Celtic. It's a deflected shot that goes into the arms of John McCracken.
What happened to goalkeepers in this country?
I know
it sort of bobbled awkwardly in front of him because it took a deflection, didn't it?
I think if you look at it, it's very the modern wingers now. Kuhn is left footed. He's playing the right wing. Forrest is right footed, playing the left wing.
What about that?
Yeah, good kick out
to the goalkeeper.
It's all about coming in the pitch and trying to have an effort. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, I think he got away with that, really, didn't he, John McCracken? Because it sort of looped up into the air over Kyogo and ended up.
He's hit Kyogo in the back of the head. Kyogo's standing in front of him. He manages to hit him in the head, and somehow it's managed to turn into a Dundee
attack, and they've got a corner. Yeah.
Now it's a test of the flaky four at the back, and Joe Hart, who never, set pieces, he never looks quite at it for me.
Yeah, Dundee's first chance to get a ball into the box. It'll be Owen Dodgson's out-swinging delivery from the corner.
Dundee Ultras just behind him there, all about 5-year-old with a drum. Where did he get a drum from?
Their family, mum and dad sitting next to them.
They've robbed the old music department in the high school to bring that in there. Oh, fans nowadays, brilliant. They add a bit of colour and life to the whole proceedings, don't they?
That's what you want to see, though. Young fans trying to create a bit of atmosphere and a bit of noise.
Nah.
No.
What do you like? The old
do you like
flat
the silent
cap
game of
supporter?
football?
You still like the supporter shirt and tie, flat cap.
No.
Newspaper under the arm.
I want to be in a hospitality box.
Yeah, Hugh, I'm with you in that, mate. That's the only way to go.
I'm not sitting in the rain in Dundee.
Do you know something? I always go back. I can never ever imagine now. I had to go to training every day in a suit and a shirt and tie.
Yeah,
scandalous. That.
At 16 years of age,
as a sports person, going with a shirt and tie. Wow, talk about uncomfortable.
Mate, it was ridiculous.
You see, I think I saw it about a ball into the box for Celtic. John McCracken's had to just beat that one away. It was across the 6-yard box.
It's good play from Celtic. Great movement.
They're looking sharp, Celtic, early on. They're knocking that ball about well. They're all want a touch. They're all looking lively. So Dundee just need to be careful. Don't concede an early goal.
I watched Dundee Celtic Park, same formation, all chance again.
Kuhn with a curling effort, saved again by John McCracken, who's had to be busy in these early stages.
Well, I was just about to say that I watched Dundee getting dragged about the pitch, and they had no idea how to combat Celtic's wide men on that occasion, and it's pretty similar in the opening 7 minutes. Kuhn twice coming into his left foot, and as a fullback, an opposition fullback, I think you're quite happy showing Kuhn inside there, but you've got to have a midfielder then bottom. It just opens up for him. You think, where's your inside midfielder?
Hold on. So if you're a full back and you know his dangerous foot's his left, you want to show him inside on that left foot. I would rather show him down the line, Matt.
Yeah, I can understand that. But if you've got traffic inside you, if you've built a structure where you've got midfielders inside the pitch, show them into traffic and keep them going across the pitch. I totally understand. Oh, chance for Celtic.
Yeah, another chance for Celtic, and once again John McCracken, I think his right foot this time, clears it off the line. It was a header at the back post. It was going goalwards.
Dundee are on the ropes, there's no doubt about that here.
I think John McCracken's been busier in the opening 8 minutes of this game than he was in the whole game when Rangers visited Dens Park a couple of weeks back.
Corner again.
Did
Celtic break the record for corners up here before?
Yeah, they had 23 corners.
23 or so. Yeah, it was incredible.
Yeah, this was a flicked header to the back post. It was a Greg Taylor that managed to head it down towards the goal. John McCracken just flicked out his right boot and managed to divert it away.
There's nothing wrong with the start from Celtic, just
No,
the
they
finishing
looked sharp.
touches needed. It's another good ball into the box, good header away that time by McGee, because he's under huge pressure from Carter Vickers there within the 6-yard box. That's a good start, good tempo from Celtic.
Celtic look sharp. They look sharp about their business. I know it's early. We've seen this picture before. You just wonder, the criticism comes with Celtic. One half are brilliant, second half they drop off it. They just need to put it together this afternoon, but they've got off to a good start. They're looking very sharp indeed. Dundee just try to make it difficult now, get people behind the ball, plug the gaps, but you just need to be careful. Celtic will cut you open. Their movement's very good.
Yeah, it'll be a big concern for Tony Docherty and his staff, because when you've seen Celtic put 13 goals past you in 3 games already this season, it's a bit ominous the way they've started again today.
They've been livelier, Celtic, in the first 10 minutes than Rangers were in 90 in Paisley. But you can praise all of that all day until they score a goal. It amounts to nothing.
Yeah, they're certainly looking sharp in the opening stages. 10 minutes gone at Dens Park. We will get some reaction from the managers as well shortly from the earlier match. Dundee with a chance, first real chance to break forward. It just gets caught under Luke McCowan's feet.
They've got pace as well, Dundee at the top end of the pitch, and those are the opportunities there. When Celtic are a bit slack like they were there, it was a poor ball, and I think it was to Matt O'Reilly, and they nick it. They need to promote bodies forward quickly to trouble Celtic. Just seen the chance back again. Greg Taylor does really well, because it's such a difficult header.
Initially as if it was McCracken's foot, but actually
fingertips,
and it bounced up and managed to get it away
behind his line there when he does that. Taylor does well just to get it on target. It's another good save.
Well, it's 80% possession for Celtic so far. I know it's early, but I think Brendan Rodgers will be quite happy the way they've started there. Hatate looking for a foul, didn't get it.
Yeah, down in the middle of the park, but waved to play on by John Beaton. That's good striker play by Bakayoko just to hold off Cameron Carter-Vickers.
Yeah, really good battle there from the two of them. Bakayoko did well just to hold the ball up a bit. Then it's his second touch takes him away. Vickers
is so strong, isn't he? He really stands his ground. Good centre half play.
Dependable.
Yeah, good
really
centre half play. So strong.
Brendan Rodgers says it himself that there's just a much more of a calmness about Celtic's backline when Cameron Carter-Vickers is in it.
Oh yeah, if you take him out of it, you're immediately in trouble, as was proved earlier in the season. He's only had
Celtic work it into the box again. Was it James Forrest with the cross towards the back post that bounces out?
Brilliant play from Forrest. I said that. He loves to come inside and bounce things off. It's a 1-2 with Hatate. He's in a good position. He tries to open his foot up and curl it to the back post. It just goes wrong, but he looks sharp. He looks sharp already.
It's a great little return pass from Hatate. You know, he just takes the sting out the pass into Forrest's path. I think James Forrest should do better there when he gets.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that a shot? Is that a cross?
I think that's a cross, mate. That's not a shot, wouldn't
he? Yeah, was he just trying to direct it towards the back post? Didn't quite get it right.
I think so. It just went wrong for him. But Celtic certainly bossing the game so far.
Does he maybe look like a player that's trying to prove a point, James Forrest?
Well, I don't think with 22 medals in your cabinet you don't need to prove a point to anyone.
Maybe just based on this season though, because
I think
Brendan Rodgers said himself that he believes James Forrest thinks he should be playing more, so you can still have that back catalogue of what you've done, but still want to prove a point that you should have played more this specific season.
Yeah, I think he's enjoyed the fact that so many people have pointed out that it's maybe time for a James Forrest, and he's been proud of that recognition. But as I say, we're 13 minutes in. Celtic have made a very, very good start, but they have to score. Quite simple, and keep one out at the other end.
Plenty of time to do it with just 13 minutes on the clock. Dundee yet to threaten. Really had that one corner, didn't they, that was dealt with pretty easily.
You see Scott Patterson on the bench here, just taking he's the one that's taking the orders from Tony Docherty. He's got I hope it's ordered. It looked like he was just listening to his iPod, by the way. He had his headphones plugged in. Big Scotty likes some music. I played with him at Dundee United. He's got history against Celtic. He signed for Dundee United, and he was an up and coming player, centre half, ball playing centre half, and within maybe 10 minutes of his debut at Celtic Park, real bad knee injury, and he failed to recover from it, and his career was stunted at Dundee United anyway. A good coach, Scott.
I would just turn my phone off. Batteries,
no reception.
Batteries low.
Tell you what, it's tough to get a signal as well in the
inside
stadiums.
It is.
You think Tony's just speaking to him throughout the full game here?
Yeah. Managers
probably
do that. They're a nuisance. You know, and you're sitting there trying to go up and down and pass on the information, but turn the phone off.
The day for Tottenham almost went from bad to worse. They're 3-0 down, a big save from Vicario to keep it at 3 as well. Could be an absolute hammering for Ange Postecoglou's side.
He probably thinks 3-0 is a hammering already.
I did hear him when somebody said, would you have settled for 5th? Did you hear his interview? Would you have settled for 5th before the start of the season? He says no, of course not. I wouldn't have settled for 5th. I want to win it all. He said, but our position is reflective of how our seasons went. He's just got the journalist in there wrapped around his finger, hasn't he? He's got them tied in knots.
He's doing a good job for what he took over, and he lost what the best striker in English football. Even you could say Europe, one of the best strikers in Europe football, to have to recover from that and build a team round about, you know, other players. I think he's done a fantastic job.
Dundee just slack there.
Yeah.
They'll allow that to run out, thinks it's going to be a goal kick. It's a corner kick though. So another opportunity for Celtic.
Yeah, Matt O'Reilly to deliver, one of the 11 players on the PFA Team of the Year.
Oh, was it Team of the Year? I seen for Player of the Year coming up there.
No, not.
I didn't think that was out yet.
No, nominations for that aren't out yet.
When's Fraser Givens that? Today?
I think it's the start of this coming week. We'll find out.
Is it not tomorrow?
Could well be.
Fraser could give us a wee head up.
It's next Sunday, is it?
Next Sunday.
The dinner's next Sunday.
Aye, so it's got to be tomorrow. They're released and they'll be there holding a big PFA sign, getting their photos taken. All 4 of them doing their interviews.
You got your ticket in? I hear you've not got your ticket.
I didn't get my ticket in, so if I don't receive it, I
okay,
won't be going.
You take that.
By the way, if you get a free,
I'll get a
ticket. Get me in the box.
Yeah,
I've got to take that.
I hope Wisher's listening to this.
Well, I've not got my ticket.
At least I was up front and honest and just said, unfortunately,
it's like a physical ticket.
Yeah.
Have you not got an invite?
I've got an invite.
Sure, that's all you need.
I know I need something.
You need the ticket, do you know, to show
because nobody will know you.
Show the steward on the door.
Yeah, because the steward doesn't know you.
No.
It's alright for the big A-listers like me and
previous winners.
Hugh, we get just chaperoned up beside Fraser for a few nice glasses of wine, but you'll need to show your ID. Bring your passport.
Not just Player of the Year as well. There's Young Player of the Year, and then there'll be the Women's Player of the Year and Women's Young Player of the Year as well. So plenty of nominees. We'll find out tomorrow, and then the winners they'll find out on Sunday.
It's always a good night, that.
Yeah,
good to see some ex-teammates and things like that, ex-colleagues. Always entertaining.
I just need to find the driver.
Oh, we Albert will be Albert will
You'll even see the first award.
You can see Hugh walking round to the table. We Albert's hiding. Albert, I know you're under there. The car will be, engine will be switched on at 10:30. I feel sorry for that.
As you can
man.
tell, there's maybe a bit of a lull in the game at Dens Park.
That's
Celtic.
because it's gone flat. You know, the early zip has gone from the game, and you know, Celtic slowing up a bit now.
Yeah, maybe a chance here for Celtic, just trying to shift Dundee around towards the edge of the box, find that space.
You can see Dundee's tactic. Everybody behind the ball, try and hit Celtic in the counter, make it very difficult for them. So it might be a wee afternoon for Celtic, just to be patient. They've certainly got the players that can find those gaps if Dundee switch off, but they're making it very difficult indeed, Dundee.
Yeah, James Forrest has been trying to cause problems down the left. That ball into the box doesn't find a Celtic jersey.
He was just looking for one of his midfielders just to bounce off of there, James, when he cut back on his right foot, but on the wrong page. I think Celtic are moving it fine. Dundee obviously learned their lessons. Fascinating to see the two approaches from the opposition. St Mirren were brave and pressed Rangers and put them under pressure and got their rewards. Dundee, like Daz said, just sitting deep and thinking, let's just keep this tight and let's see if Celtic can break us down. And as long as Celtic keep moving it and rotating, they will get opportunities.
Here we are.
Yeah, Joe Hart has to come out of his box to deal with that. Slices the ball up into the air, but will be dealt with eventually. Tell you what, while there is a bit of a lull in the game, let's hear from Philip Clement, shall we, what he made of Rangers' performance today.
Was it our most sexy game? No. But it's also the circumstances. All respect towards St Mirren also. Their aggressivity, their power in the duels. They want these duels every time. Pitch is also smaller, so that creates also more duels. And we had to dig in. We knew that from before, but the team did and get the result. So I don't think if you don't lead with 0-2 or 0-3 that one team will have an easy game here. That's because of the quality and the mentality of St Mirren, of the players, of their manager. So it's about taking the 3 points and with a very good second goal also.
Is that maybe what you expected, acknowledging that it's not our best performance of the season, but just happy to have the win?
The quick summary of that is, I don't care what it looked like, we won. And that is the story of the day. Celtic here, Dens started on fire. The fire's gone out, but they won't care what it looks like if they can get a winning goal.
Yeah, Celtic still very much dominating the ball. Dundee trying to flurry forward a couple of times, but coming to nothing.
Yeah, Dundee just making sure that they get people behind the ball, making it hard for Celtic. Celtic's still dominating the game. They're not getting in behind Dundee, which Tony Dock will be absolutely delighted about. I said that I think this game's taking the pattern of maybe a patience afternoon for Celtic. They'll just need to, keep the ball and look for spaces and try and drag Dundee players round the pitch. But they've got to be careful at the other end as well, because we all know that Dundee have got players capable, if you give them an opportunity, of hurting you.
This is leading somewhere, but did you ever play against any players that were just really annoying, just did annoying things on the pitch to try and wind you up? I've just seen a video of Ben White, Arsenal defender in the North London derby, just undoing Vicario's gloves at a corner while he's standing behind him at a corner. Just, the sort of Velcro bit on the glove, just undoing that just to try and wind him up and annoy him.
It's got to be a booking, is it not? I dare say, Andrew, I've played against a fair few that would be fairly annoying. None that is.
You must have had a few winding up tactics up your sleeve.
I was very annoying, I've got to say, because I spoke to people the full game, goalkeepers and centre halves. I used to stand next to the goalkeeper at a corner. Loved it. Some of my one-liners. I couldn't repeat it. Some of my one-liners were, even for me, were good at that time.
You can tell how bad the game's got now. We're back to Gordon Dale's early days now.
You think the game's that bad, Hugh? Really?
Well, it's not the...
Not goal mouth action, I would say.
Nothing. It started well. I mean, Kuhn had two terrific chances early on, but it's dried up now.
Yeah, Dundee trying to find a way into the Celtic box at the moment.
Good art from Tiffany there.
It's a goal kick in
the
the end.
He kept it alive, but shows good pace. But again, Carter Vickers shows why he's so valuable. Just his pace, his strength, his positioning in the right position at the right time. I think the game's okay. I think Dundee have done well to, hold out in that opening period and just simmer Celtic down a bit, and they're starting to move forward. But that is a danger when they start to move forward. Gaps at the back start opening, and that's when Celtic will exploit them. But Celtic will have to be patient, there's no doubt. They just have to keep moving the ball.
Yeah, Brendan Rodgers will have seen enough, I'm sure, to be encouraged for what's to come. Kyogo just trying to turn on the edge of the box there, and Dundee able to get it away.
He's not had much service this afternoon. No. 23 minutes in, Kyogo. But we know if you put quality balls in that box, he comes alive, he's danger. So Dundee just need to be aware. That's a great touch from Forrest. Oh my
and the cross
goodness.
in from James Forrest as well. Big chance for Celtic, and it's wasted by Reo Hatate.
Oh,
got to score it.
Well, I thought Kuhn should have done better at the back post first of all, but then I think Hatate should put it in the back of the net as well. Forrester's brilliant, dinks up to the back post. I think Kuhn should get in.
Hatate must
and Hatate's got to score.
I mean, it's good defending at the back post by Owen Dodgson, isn't it? He gets his body across Kuhn and blocks it. Rio Hatate arriving. Is he maybe worried about the Dundee defender in front of him? Is it bouncing up at an awkward height?
Goes with the right foot. Maybe let it come across you that other yard and just put it in with your left foot.
He's got to score, Mark.
Big chance.
He's got to put it this way, right? He's got to hit the target. It's harder to do what he achieved there and put it by the post.
All came from some good work by James Forrest. It was just a really nice first touch and then ran round the other side of the Dundee defender.
Just intelligence. That, a throw in over the Dundee back line, but he understands where he has to move the ball to as the Dundee player's running towards him, and he manages to get to the byline. But then even the quality of the ball, down to the back post, brilliant.
I think there is that frustration with some of Celtic's wingers sometimes that they'll do the first bit right and then the delivery's not quite there, but James Forrest showing both sides of it there. Without
doubt. And I just thought Kuhn maybe a wee bit on his heels. Dodgson does well as a fullback to tuck in, but can you get ahead of the fullback?
Here's a breakaway from Dundee now. Have they got enough support in the box?
Yeah, Bakayoko just trying to assess his options.
Well, he's done well there because he had nothing really to aim it in the box, so he's held the ball up.
Well, Dodgson, a dangerous looking ball in towards the back post, and Bakayoko, I don't know if he was really expecting it to come to him, and he makes the contact, just bounces nicely into the arms of Joe Hart.
It was Celtic's Achilles heel last week. Crosses from this right hand side to the back post.
Doesn't get his feet right, does he?
Got to adjust his feet. That's a good opportunity. He's got to do better.
Is that maybe just a lack of anticipation because there are three players in front of him? Is he maybe expecting one of them? I'm not saying that he should be doing that, but is that what it maybe looks like?
If you're a striker, you've got to just be on your toes to anticipate anything that's going to happen in that box. Be sharp to react. That's what you work on every single day in training. Movement in the box, crosses coming in. You work in that every day. That's your job. And when the ball falls to him, then he's got to adjust his feet. He's got to do better for me.
By the same token, Celtic lost 2 goals in that manner in the cup tie last weekend. Every day in training, as you say, why are the same mistakes getting made?
Yeah, well, Owen Dodgson does well to rob Nicholas Kuhn of possession. Goes for the similar cross this time. It's low and dealt with well.
Looked good, the shape on that. He went low, he went right across, trying to get in behind Carter Vickers. Just a couple of wee opportunities opening up for Dundee. It's their best spell.
I think they've looked at that game and thought, right, anything we get on the left hand side, try and just aim to the back post and see if we can go and attack it. Was that a free kick for you, Mark?
No, it wasn't given. It was given for the handball by Owen Dodgson, who went down and then
I think he's unlucky there.
Gathered the ball with his arms in anticipation of getting the free kick, but it went against him.
I think he could have had a shout for a free kick there. Kuhn just putting his shoulder into him there.
All of a sudden 27 minutes gone and Celtic have slipped back out of the game now.
Dundee certainly looking a bit better than they were in the opening stages, but Celtic just able to pile so many bodies back when Dundee are breaking forward.
See, if I was Celtic, I wouldn't really mind this because Dundee are starting to throw more players forward. Celtic were finding it very difficult to break them down. When Dundee get a bit of confidence, throw more players forward. If Celtic can then win back the ball, they've got a better opportunity causing problems. But they've got to, I agree with Hugh, they've got to defensively make sure they shut the back door and be a bit more solid, because they are giving Dundee a little bit of encouragement.
Is it game on in the North London derby? 3-1 now. There's a goal back. Christian Romero scoring for Tottenham.
I don't want to say anything to you, Andrew, but I've taped this for tonight because I'm in the night, and you've totally ruined my evening's entertainment.
If you think you're going to come into a studio where we're talking about football for 6 hours straight and avoid
we're not interested in English football. This is all the Scottish football.
Oh well, it's 3-1. I'll keep you updated. I've got the TV screen in front of me. What are your other plans that you've got tonight then? No, nothing interesting.
Recliner.
I'm still recovering from my Friday night antics.
2-day hangover.
Oh, my dear.
I was poorly yesterday, Andrew.
I was in my bunk bed at 8:30 last night, struggling.
He's just dragging his cell a bit here yesterday, feeling sorry for himself.
Oh, it's
what a professional.
Yes, he rolled his sleeves up and gone, mate. But early to bed, were you?
Oh,
Half
my
8.
goodness. I was shattered.
Did you make match of the day? No,
I don't
chance.
I don't watch match of the day now. That's not for me.
That's because you record all the games and watch them back. Is that what
yeah,
you do?
Yeah, I like to do that on a Monday. That's my Monday.
I do that on a Saturday night. Honestly, I record match of the day and watch it. I know it goes on first thing this Sunday morning anyway, but I record it, and if I'm up early, I'll stick that on. Don't watch it live. Can never stay up for it.
Still 0-0 at Dens Park
And
between
it's
Dundee and
poor.
Celtic. No
Oh,
real.
I've recorded that as well.
Yeah, no real chances since that sort of flurry in the opening 10 minutes when
Yeah.
Celtic looked sharp. Well, there was that Rio Hatate one that he maybe should have done better with. Celtic just trying to move the ball around the left wing and work it into the box. Dundee clear.
If I were Brendan Rodgers, I'd be concerned at the lack of activity in front of goal. I mean, we can go on and on and on. They're sleepwalking towards 0-0 at half time.
They've had 6 attempts in goal
I
in
know.
30 minutes. The goalkeeper's made 3 saves. What?
I don't think Brendan Rodgers is going to be too concerned at the moment as
And
Celtic
there-
come
there's
forward.
a goal.
What a goal that is.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
That's why I love working with this guy.
And guess who? It's James
Oh,
Forrest with the goal.
sensational.
A really good strike. Popped up for him nicely at the edge of the box. Hammered it low into the far corner. Celtic have the lead.
Sensational goal, you've got to say. And look, it's the way I was describing it for me. Celtic have moved the ball well and they've been patient, they've created chances, and it's just the quality of this. Into Kyogo, touch back, and James Forrest on the volley from 18 yards across McCracken. He's got no chance, and a terrific start from
Well,
Celtic.
I'll tell you what, anybody that writes this boy off don't know anything about football. That is absolutely brilliant. Kyogo tries to control it. They get a bit of luck, it bounces up, but the minute that happens, James Forrest decides, I'll take over here, and he gives the goalkeeper no chance. That's a guy that's high in confidence, and that's a terrific strike.
And that's why he's there instead of Yang.
Oh, come on, Hugh. Let Yang go.
Oh, God.
Let Yang go.
Come
on.
Sleepwalking towards half time. Bang!
There you are.
There's the wake you up.
We could just
alarm
add
clock.
that to the collection of
Oh, yeah.
just
There's been a few,
perfect
but
moments
that's
where-
almost a perfect
There's
one.
always, that's why I'm here.
Do you know something, Hugh? I'm not on Twitter, but I would join just to see the reaction in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, but that's full of degenerates.
But honestly, Hugh, did you think Brendan Rodgers would have been concerned at the lack
Listen,
of action?
James Forrest has just brought this game alive like a stick of dynamite, because
He's got them out of jail.
it was sleepwalking, and then bang, there goes James Forrest, 1 goal lead. And I've been campaigning for him all week, and I'm glad that Brendan listens.
But the stats, like we were just saying before, it showed that McCracken's made 3 saves
very early on, and then for a 20-minute period it went quiet.
But then for a team to dominate a game, you're not expecting that they're going to have shots every 2 minutes for the full 90 minutes and dominate. It's just not how football works.
My great ability is to ignore everything that you and him say.
And let me tell you, you're very good at it. Brilliant. I love that. But we said earlier, it started well. It was a game of patience. Dundee were very well organised, making it hard. But what a way to get back into the team from your starting position, from Brendan Rodgers bumming you up this week. My goodness.
There's a long range strike from Luke McCowan, just goes over the bar.
He's had a good season this
He's a
season,
good
and
player.
he's capable of scoring from there. It's a good attempt, you know. They do well just to keep it alive. Silla keeps it alive. He's a long way out. When you see the replay again, he's probably about 25 yards out there. Take something extra special to beat Joe Hart from there.
But McCowan has scored 9 this season, all in the Premiership, and that was an example of you won't win the raffle if you don't buy a ticket. So he had a go.
He's been good this year, Hugh. Dundee have got some good promising players. Cameron in the middle of the park as well. You know, even the signing of Tiffany, I think he does a terrific job. He's work rate, everything about him.
Good player, yeah.
They've signed well. They've lost 2, Shaughnessy and Beck at left back, who's been absolutely terrific when he came to Dundee. They've lost two really important defenders. It's a big ask today against a Celtic team that know, they've watched what Rangers have achieved at Paisley and are 3 points in the bag. They want to keep their heads firmly in the driving seat, and I think that, I know what Hugh's saying, right, because we all want an exciting games. I think we all got spoiled last Saturday, but I think Brendan Rodgers so far would be very, very happy with 33 minutes.
I've got to agree with you. I think Celtic will be pleased with us. Brendan Rodgers, his coaching team and the players. I think this half hour anyway, what we've witnessed, it might change, but this Celtic team look focused, they look sharp, they look up for it. It's a great goal, they've created chances. So exactly what you would want. Forrest has another goal coming in his right foot. Dundee just not solving that problem with the two wingers coming in at all.
James Forrest has read every headline about this guy could be the difference maker now, because he's determined to take that mantle on to his shoulders. Every time he gets the ball, his first thought is how he can test John McCracken.
Well, that's the argument with James Forrest's detractors though. And there's one that's works in this building.
Who?
I can't name and shame. I can't.
Go
on. No.
Whisper it and I'll do it.
No.
Producer Michael.
Is it? Okay.
I was not going to throw him under the bus.
You didn't, I did.
Oh well.
Right, okay. What does he say?
He just doesn't rate him. He does not rate him. I had a discussion with him last week and I asked him his points why, and he couldn't really give me anything. But it's a weird. He's not alone, by the way.
I've heard his opinions on a lot of things. And,
I know.
Yeah.
Well, young fans don't like retro, and they think James Forrest represents retro. Why are we still? He was 10 years ago as player, and so on and so forth. But that's because they don't know anything about the game.
Does it beg the question with James Forrest? Brendan Rodgers said it himself during the week that he maybe even questioned himself that he's not played James Forrest more this season, but it's a fair thing to ask now that if he is putting in the performances, he is scoring goals with his limited minutes.
Oh, there's a bad one for
McGregor. He have been playing more this season?
Yes. We'll just wait and see how Callum McGregor's pounding the grass and the fashion of people who think they've got a sore one.
Right in the ankle up.
That's overruns it.
A sore one for Callum McGregor.
Yeah.
That yellow card. Has he been booked? No.
I think going back to James Forrest, right, you talk about Brendan Rodgers questioning himself. Listen, let's not be kidded here. That is terrific man management. He knows he's going to play him today, so he then gives it I maybe should have played James a lot more, he's been brilliant, whatever. All he's doing is keeping that confidence, that feel factor good. Like James Forrest is listening to the manager. I'm going to show him he's got a lot of confidence in me now. He's certainly repaid it, because I think for the first 36 minutes Forrest has been excellent.
Brendan Rodgers not happy with that challenge on McGregor. He's talking to the fourth official about it, but no booking, and thankfully McGregor seems to be okay and up and on with the game.
Yeah, they've not seen any issues with it in the VAR room either. We'll continue. Is he back on, Callum McGregor?
I think so. I don't think he went off, did he?
No.
Maybe just more of an impact injury, was it?
Yeah, it looked a real sore one, but I don't think did the physio come on.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, so he was just needing a few minutes just to recover. We've all had some of those. Just need a wee minute just to let it relax. Here's Dundee coming though.
Cross from the right this time.
James
Takes
Forrest,
a deflection, goes out for
I think it's Forrest,
a corner.
Yeah, balks across. So he's doing his duty. He's gone back the way, and a slight opportunity for Dundee. They've had few glimpses of Joe Hart's goal, but set pieces they can maybe do something with. They're a big team. You see a couple of their bigger players up there.
More goals for corners than any other team.
Oh, great start.
Yeah,
that's good homework.
Thank you.
You're on here.
I read that this morning. I was doing a bit of research this morning.
You always are. I know that.
I can't believe you missed that coming up on the TV.
I honestly thought you were being sarcastic there.
I was just trying to give him some credit. Just take the pats in the back. The people in the car who's listening, they don't know you've seen that on TV.
I only take credit when
pull the wool over their eyes.
My fans out there know.
What was it? There was a few consecutive Saturdays that you just came up with random stats that you'd come across on some website. Remember, it was the most rogue selection of stats you'd ever heard, and Fraser Wishart managed to out you.
Fraser Wishart thinks he's smart as a ball. That's easily taken. Fraser thinks he's just smart. I do a lot of research on a Friday for a programme. That's one thing. Never go out. Oh well, I was out this Friday
night. Yeah, I was going to say that.
What sort of research were you doing this Friday?
There's a lie.
Huh? What were you researching into then?
Oh God.
Entertaining night that was.
The less said about it, the better.
Researching every alcoholic brand. What's this taste like? We'll go on to this one next. I'm glad you're recovered. You're much more full of life today than you were yesterday.
Oh, I had a packet of crisps for my dinner.
Did you?
Oh yeah.
That's when you know it's bad.
You know you're in trouble.
Grown man having a packet of crisps for his dinner.
A packet of plain.
Couldn't even eat the flavour.
Did you even finish them?
I drank. I had a wee
You're
bit
not
left.
recovered, are you? Another strike from Dundee straight into the arms of Joe Hart.
Well, it all came from Hatate losing the ball. He's looked a bit ineffectual today, Ray or Hatate. Likewise, it would have to be said, Matt O'Reilly, he's yet to impose himself on this game. So far about James Forrest. If you want something positive, James Forrest, every time the ball's at his feet, and the excellent volleyed goal which has put Celtic in front.
I think positive is the fact that Celtic are leading 1-0, Hugh. They're dominating the game. Joe Hart's had a couple of shots from long distance, nothing really to worry about. I think Brendan Rodgers will be very positive. Don't get me wrong, I'm a great believer in, especially games like this, a second goal certainly helps, but 40 minutes on the clock, I don't think Brendan Rodgers will be complaining about a lot.
I think that's a real downside of Kuhn. He's very slight, not really aggressive, and that ball's running towards the corner flag. There was only going to be one winner there. Dodson just gets his body across. Maybe has a slight argument seeing it back that Dodson maybe uses two hands to push Kuhn, but you just got to be stronger there, haven't you?
But it's right in front of the assistant referee. I don't see why that's not a foul.
Yeah, maybe. But I agree with Daz in terms of positivity. You come into these games and it's high pressure environment. You know Rangers have won. You've got to analyse the performance within the 40 minutes. You've got to be true to it and honest. Celtic have moved it well. It's not been a turgid watch if you're a Celtic fan, this one. I think they've played well. They've got good performances within that, and they should be more than one up if you go with that opening 5 minutes as well. They've scored a terrific goal, conceded very little at the back. That's a good first half, I would have to say. Again, I might go a different way in the second half, because that has been the story for Celtic this year. That will be Brendan Rodgers' message, no doubt about it. At half time, do not take a step backwards, go forward, repeat the first half, and they'll get out of there with 3 points. No doubt about it.
Yeah, I agree with Mark, because they've been known for that recently about, one half they play well, second half they drop off it, vice versa. So I think Brendan Rodgers, if they get in 1-0, will be reasonably happy, but he will be telling them, look, there's still a long way to go in this game, because at one point, if it's 1-0, Dundee are going to change the tactics and throw more players forward. As Celtic come here, this is an opportunity.
Kyogo with the ball down the right wing, just trying to find that delivery. I think it maybe comes off Kyogo last, and it will be a goal kick.
Good
to
play
Dundee
from Lamy there.
Yep.
Covers ground well and quickly to get back to Kyogo.
I'd take him off.
You take Kyogo off?
Get Adam Ida on there.
Yeah, Hugh, honestly, I'd love to have been your assistant in the day. See, in fact, I'll tell you, if I could turn back time, when I was a manager, I'd bring you in my number 2.
That's it.
Kyogo not being involved in the game really isn't an issue for Celtic, is it? Because some of his best games he's had for Celtic, he's not really involved much, and then scores goals.
Yeah, a lot of work you see Kyogo doing, or don't see him doing
Off the
actually,
ball work,
is so valuable to the team. So, by the way, see when O'Reilly and Hatate's getting on the ball, or Forrest getting on the ball, Kyogo's had something to do with that. He's either making a run in behind to take the Dundee backline back the way, or he's running in between centre halves to occupy them. So although he doesn't get many touches of the ball, he's always an important cog in this wheel.
His major contribution was being unable to control the ball, and it put it up in the air for James Forrest to volley it in.
Some people would call that an assist.
Yeah.
You don't have many positive things to say about Celtic, even though they're 1-up.
That is a positive. I said that. Magnificent volley from James Forrest. You're too forgiving. I have no time for forgiveness.
Just honest, just seeing what's in front of us and the way it's playing out, and it's been positive.
No time for positivity either.
Yeah, well, it looks as if this game might just sort of peter on to half time. There's not really much intensity at the moment. Celtic will be quite happy just to see this one into the break.
By the way, the pitch, although it does look good, see when you're just seeing the ball getting moved about,
it's bumpy.
It is bumpy,
Yeah.
It's a lot bumpier than I thought. And again, great credit to players, both sets of players. Even when Dundee's got the ball, they've knocked it a bit okay. It's never easy at this time of year if you get a dry pitch like this one and it's churned up underneath as well. It's hard to connect to passes, but they're doing okay both sides so far.
I think if Celtic get a second goal before half time, that would be it.
Yeah, well, they will push for it here. Callum McGregor just finding Matt O'Reilly in the middle of the park. Chance for Nicholas Kuhn to show what he can do out on
He's
the
got to come
right
inside,
wing.
Surely not.
His cross is skewed out for a goal kick.
That's what I was saying to you, Mark, about defending.
Take him on
I would
outside,
show him down, because he just swings his right foot at. I'm waiting for him to duck back onto his left and cause problems. I love that. I love when the managers get the good pen. That's a lovely pen.
It's nice.
Brendan Rodgers just noting down
a lovely pen.
Like what was he noting down there? Nicholas Kuhn,
He's
bad
noting
cross.
down
Work on right foot.
How much did we waste on him?
I'll tell you, the best one I ever seen with that was Alan Padru, West Ham, and the camera comes from up above behind him, and he wrote down West Ham 1, Arsenal 0 on his notepad, and I'm thinking there's two big scoreboards in this arena that you can
look busy,
and you're the manager, mate. I think you should know you're winning 1-0. I was brilliant. I would have a wee drawing or something.
See, when I started out at Airdrie, actually, I took notes and then I quickly just thought, this is nonsense.
45 minutes, you can remember.
I can remember
everything.
everything. Aye.
Seriously though, Kuhn's got to do better. I mean, he's.
Are you on Kuhn now? You're just going for
Yang on the pitch.
Winger.
Now we're on Kuhn. Who's next?
Total waste of money.
Tell you what, it's going to be an interesting end to the North London derby, I think, because of Tottenham just been awarded a penalty following a VAR check. I think they have done. They're 3-1 down,
back.
could be 3-2. Certainly Michael Oliver went over to the screen.
Half time.
It's half time. Let's get the story from Fraser Wishart.
Yeah, half time is Dundee 0, Celtic 1. Been a really good game to watch. Both sides playing some decent stuff. Celtic dominating and deservedly ahead. And who else but James Forrest scored the only goal at the time of the half, where Dundee were actually having a good spell and looking like scoring themselves, having survived a whirlwind start from Celtic. They came out of the blocks straight from the kick-off, putting Dundee under real pressure. Forrest cut inside and shot just over. Kuhn cut inside from the other wing, and his left foot, his shot was deflected, fumbled by McCracken. They recovered as Kyogo waited to pounce on the loose ball. The keeper then was called into action again. Hatate drove the ball across goal and he dived to punch the cross away, and then John McCracken saved really well. Kuhn again cutting into his left foot, shooting for the far post, but the big keeper dived to push it away before he then had to make a fingertip save to push a Greg Taylor header off the line after Scales got a touch to an O'Reilly corner. And all that was in the first 8 minutes, and Dundee hardly been out of their half, but they began to get better organised defensively, leaving Bakayoko up front of his own, and the high tempo of Celtic's play dropped, although still dominating the ball as the chances dried up until Hatate wasted a really good chance. After great work again by Forrest, his cross fell to Hatate 6 yards out. The loose ball he should have scored, but he shot wide of the goal. Then the first clear chance for Dundee in 25 minutes. Dodgson on the left hand side, a lovely cross to the back post, and Bakayoko somehow didn't get proper contact on the ball. Really good chance, but the ball ended up in the arms of Joe Hart. And in 29 minutes came the opening goal, and it was James Forrest. Who else? Celtic's passing, they just upped the tempo a bit. The ball got played into Kyogo. It looks like he tried to control it, it just bounced off him, but into the path of the Celtic winger, and Forrest volleyed brilliantly past McCracken from 16 yards. The keeper was motionless. Dundee still occasionally a threat on the break. McCown and Bakayoko had shots from the edge of the box, but they all went straight at Joe Hart. Job half done for Celtic, but Brendan Rodgers will be wanting his team to keep going forward and get a second goal to put it to bed, because Dundee still in it and still an occasional threat going forward at 1-0. Half time at Dens Park, Dundee 0, Celtic 1.
Yes, Celtic in front. We'll take a bit of preview to that second half next.
The fastest goals, the experts' opinions. This is Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard.
Dundee 0, Celtic 1, the score at half-time at Dens Park. Rangers did their job earlier on. A 2-1 win against St Mirren and Paisley meant they went level on points with Celtic. Celtic looking to put that gap back to 3 points. They've done half of the job so far. 1-0 up. We've just seen the goal again from James Forrest. Was a really good strike, wasn't it?
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Get a little bit of fortune because the ball comes in, Kyogo tries to control it, it bounces up off him and it sits perfectly for Forrest, who decides I'll take over now. The goalkeeper's rooted to the spot, gives him absolutely no chance. I think first 45 plus Forrest has been terrific. I think he started sharp, he came inside, he's had a few shots at goals, he's tried to bounce things off people. He's got a real freshness about him, a real bit of sharpness about him today. I don't know if he'll play the 90 minutes. I think obviously he's not had a lot of game time, so probably his race will be run after another 20-25 minutes, but he's contributed so much, and I think that Celtic will be happy. Watching the highlights back, probably should have had another one, but they've kept Dundee out at the other end. Dundee have not really caused any problems, but I think the game plan for Dundee just simply stay in the game, which they are, and then they maybe tweak the system a little bit, go forward, be a bit braver. If that happens, they either score a goal or Celtic pick them off. So I think we're in for a good second half.
Brendan Rodgers just be looking for more of the same, really?
I think so. I think he can be happy with how his team started that first half and how quickly they moved the ball and they get into the final third with ease. I think definitely more a threat down the left hand side. We've seen that earlier on, right away from Carter Vickers' diagonal pass to Forrest, and we're thinking, how did they get so much space? And they've worked it well in that area. Forrest has been the standout, no doubt, not just his goal, but he has been the main threat carrying it forward. But Celtic have had to be patient at times as well. You know, they had a flurry of opportunities that McCracken had 3 saves, I think, in the first 5 minutes. Hugh was right, it did take a wee bit of a lull, but I still think they kept control of the game. But look, Dundee always carry a threat. When you've got Bakayoko and you've got guys like McCowan who can score from distance, and the pace of Tiffany and Boateng, of course are going to carry a threat. And while it stays 1-0, you're always susceptible to that counter-attack. But overall, I think Brendan Rodgers will be happier. I've watched Celtic a lot this year and he's had a lot worse 45 minutes than we've just seen there. So more of the same for the Celtic manager.
We'll get the second half underway next.
Scottish football's league leader. This is Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard.
This is no ordinary cross. It's the power to choose your leaders, shape your communities, and decide your future. This is no ordinary cross. It's your influence and your voice. The Mayor of London and London Assembly elections are on Thursday the 2nd of May. Pencil in the date, bring your photo ID, and make your mark. The power is in your hand. Find out more at londonelects.org.uk.
Here's an offer from Volkswagen we think you'll approve of. Get 5.9% APR representative on an all-electric approved used Volkswagen ID4 or ID5 up to 36 months old on Solutions PCP. And 2 years servicing. Your Volkswagen approved used retailer will also include 2 years warranty and 2 years roadside assistance as standard. An all-electric ID4 or ID5 to drive away today. What's not to approve of? Don't miss out. Offer ends April 30th. Search Volkswagen approved used ID.
Indemnities may be required, but participating retailers, vehicles up to 100,000 miles at activation. ID4 and ID5 models only. Volkswagen Finance.
Scottish football's league leader. This is Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard.
Celtic 1-0 up against Dundee at half-time at Dens Park. I think we can go back to Fraser Wishart. Was any sign of any changes going into the second half, Fraser?
No, there's not at all. All the substitutes from both sides are out warming up at the moment, so unless it's a last minute substitution, I wouldn't imagine that there would be. I think Brendan Rodgers will be pretty happy with his Celtic team's performance. They just kind of had a bit of a lull in the middle of the half and allowed Dundee to be a bit more threatening, but I think Tony Docherty will be equally as happy. This team have done really well. They've defended well after that initial opening period when Celtic's movement and tempo of the game and their passing was crisp. It was a movement. They're pulling defenders all over the place. Greg Taylor and James Forrest down the left hand side really enjoying the space that they could get. So after that they weathered the storm a bit, Dundee, and came back into the game, and a lot of that's down to just Celtic's tempo and their passing just been a wee bit too slow and giving the ball away, too many slack mistakes, because up until the goal they just lost that wee bit of edge to their game. But the goal was because they moved the ball very, very quickly, and it looked like to me like Kyogo just got a wee bit of luck, it bounced off him. But it was the crispness of the passing around the edge of the box into his feet, and a brilliant finish. I mean, a sweet strike by James Forrest, who's been the game's outstanding player. So good 45 so far. I don't see any changes at the break, but I think if the game does change, then you might see one or two, and Celtic in particular will be looking for that second goal just to give them a wee bit more comfort, because at 1-0 Dundee have still got a chance.
Yeah, Fraser mentioned just those periods where Dundee were having to weather the storm. Being able to do that and only conceding one does still give them a bit of belief going into the second 45, despite the fact that Celtic have dominated the ball.
Yeah, they've certainly got players given the opportunity can put the ball in the back of the net. They've kept their cell in the game. I don't think they'll be happy getting in 1-0, but they're still in this game. The next goal's so important. I think they'll give it another 5-10 minutes, see how it plans out, and then they'll tweak one or two things, try and cause Celtic a few problems. But if Celtic can be defensively strong, I think they've got enough middle to front to go and punish them again.
Yeah, they'll be keen to try and get that ball out to the left side where James Forrest is, because he's been the one causing real issues for Dundee.
Fraser used the only opposite word, comfort. Celtic need the comfort of a second goal. If it arrives, then they are assured winners. However, 1-0 is a fragile lead, and Dundee have had their attempts at goal mainly through Luke McCowan, who seems to be on a one-man mission to score, and the defensive frailty is there for Celtic, still getting caught by the ball at the back post time and again. But a second goal for Celtic, and they have the players there who can do it, in particular Forrest, who's clearly revelling in this re-emergence that he's having here as someone who has the experience and the ability to carry Celtic over the line. If they can get a second goal, then it's a good afternoon's work. They retain their 3-point lead at the top, but they are still looking for the comfort.
Yeah, the teams are back out. Fraser can give us a recap of the starting 11s, assuming there's no changes.
Yes, I can. For Celtic, Ken goes his Hart. Back four, Johnston, Carter-Vickers, Scales and Taylor. Midfield, O'Reilly, McGregor and Hatate. And up front, Kuhn, Kyogo and Forrest for Dundee. McCracken's in goals. The back four, McGee, Portales, Lamy and Dodson. Two sitting midfield players are Silla and Boateng, with a three in support of the only striker, Bakayoko, are Mulligan, McCowan and Tiffany. As the game kicks off, it's 1-0 to Celtic.
And now a word from our podcast sponsor, Lookers Motor Group. They have Jaguar, Audi, Land Rover and Volvo showrooms across Glasgow and the West, so you can find the new or used approved car that is right for you. And on now, through until Monday, at Lookers Audi in Glasgow, Hamilton, Ayr, Stirling and Edinburgh, they have a Take Charge event running. That means you can take advantage of enhanced offers and incentives for the new Audi fully electric range. So if you're thinking of going electric, check out lookersaudi.co.uk to find out more, or pop into your local showroom. Now back to the podcast.
Did you know? With Seresto, you can fit and forget about your pet's flea and tick treatment for the next 7 to 8 months in just one application. Seresto Flea and Tick Control Collar provides long-lasting, clinically proven flea and tick protection for both cats and dogs. So you can say goodbye to monthly applications and hello to long-lasting protection. Simply fit and forget about fleas and ticks with Seresto from now until October. Find out more at seresto.co.uk and to find your local store.
Hiya, it's Tim Burgess with a special announcement about my listening party on Absolute Radio. So far, we've heard stories behind classic records by New Order, U2, The Kinks, Def Leppard, Catatonia, Tis Fear, Simple Minds, The, and a great band called The Charlatans. I swear I didn't write this. Well, I'm really pleased to say that I'll be back with new episodes and new listening parties. So search Tim's Listening Party wherever you get your podcasts. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for season 4 and more stories behind iconic albums.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Goal flashes. With M&D Green Pharmacy. Looking for a pharmacy? They've been serving Scottish communities since 1996.
Yes, back underway. How are we looking on the prediction front? You're all still
in it. Yeah.
Still there. Yeah.
You still fancy a 2-2, Hugh?
I'm in the game. I'm in the game.
You're in the game.
What was yours, Gordon?
3.
Could be on for a double potentially.
Double, yeah. Imagine you did. Imagine the money you would have won if you gambled responsibly and put your mortgage on it.
See, to be honest with you, I've not got a mortgage, mate.
I get a big time wave player. And Coca-Cola Cup winning money is selling went to good use.
I've waited 15 years for that one. No got a house.
Look, you see, for Celtic in the second half, Andrew, they need to join the halves up. We've been saying it all season. The supporters have been saying it all season as well, that one half's been good, the other's not.
Over the top, Scott Tiffany puts it back into a dangerous area, but Bakayoko just wasn't attacking it.
Anytime the ball goes near the Celtic box, you'd make a involuntary noise.
Hugh's just keen to get his prediction right.
I keep calling them the flaky 4 because that's what they are.
I thought
pretty solid today so far, haven't they?
Apart from Bakayoko's chance, I'll give you that, Hugh. Cross to the back post. Maybe getting a bit easy in that
Here
one.
we go.
I'd like to see that again, because I think Joe Hart maybe should come out and command that. I'm not too sure, but first sight I thought to myself, oh, what's the goalkeeper?
Pace, Tiffany, isn't he? That's the threat.
He's a worker,
that he
isn't he? He's a great lad to have in your team. You know that he's going to put a shift in.
I had
for
him
you.
in my team one time.
Did you, mate?
Our reserves. Yeah. Our reserves, a young kid, he was there and about it, and then I think he moved to there to Thistle. Am I right in saying that?
Right, what we got? Well, Dundee have clearly started on the front foot. They know the vulnerability that can occur at the back for Celtic, and they're trying to capitalise on that straight away.
Yeah, they do look as if they've started with a bit more belief. Dundee, maybe just that first ball forward that set Scott Tiffany free has allowed them to believe that they maybe can get something. Did that go out for a goal kick? Was it in the end?
I'm not sure.
No, corner to Dundee.
I think you sometimes need to do that. Sometimes you just need to go direct and turn the opposition. Dundee have started the second half in that fashion, and it's resulted in a corner kick here.
Yeah, the ball into
Joe
the box
Hart
is
all over the place.
tipped away by Joe Hart. It's eventually clear.
Think you're generous with him there.
What about the pace in that ball? It was a driven ball, but with so much pace. I actually think it catches Joe Hart out. He takes a step forward and then thinks, oh, I'm maybe not getting there, but he got some contact on it, which was enough. And he's maybe fortunate that there was a Celtic player just behind him to clear it.
Yeah, Tony Docherty, I'm sure, will be happy with what he's seen in the opening few minutes of the second half.
Yeah, it's a good reaction from Dundee, starting to push men forward as well. So yeah, he's probably had a chat with his players in at half time, said, look, we're one down, but we're still in this game. Next goal's important. They're starting to get on the front foot and cause Celtic a couple of problems.
This is where they just need to get the delivery right, isn't it? They've now got a deep free kick. Liam Scales just pulling Bakayoko to the ground.
Does well there, Bakayoko, because he puts Scales under so much pressure. Then Scales is the wrong side, and he's managed to win him his side. A free kick, probably about 40 yards out, just on the angle. So it's enough angle to put this towards Joe Hart's back post from Dodson.
Yeah, it will go.
Oh, there's a chance.
It's an okay delivery as well, and there was actually
chance.
a Dundee player got a boot on it, wasn't it? Portales in the end managed to direct it towards Joe Hart's goal, but just couldn't get the right contact
Good
on
ball,
it.
that.
Oh,
Good
I
ball.
think that's a good chance. I've got to say, Celtic defence sleeping a little bit. Riley here into the box, corner kick. But I think that's a good chance for Dundee. Good ball in. Hard to defend that ball, but I think you've got to do better at the back post.
Well, here comes the first chance of the second half for the comfort goal.
Yeah, corner to Celtic. Matt O'Reilly will take it, and we'll see how the delivery is from him. The arm goes up. It does make its way to Liam Scales in the end, but he just wasn't really expecting it. Bounced in front of him and out for a goal kick.
It's a poor corner from Matt O'Reilly.
It is.
Yeah, too shallow. You know, he needs to get more loft than that. We'll just see this opportunity again. Dodging, just flicks it in, always curling towards Joe Hart's back post. They've certainly got bodies over.
Yeah, it was a tough one for Portales, was it?
Chance.
I'll tell you what, see if he doesn't make contact. Who's at the back of him? He's got a good chance to put it in the back.
Good ball. It's a great ball.
Oh, a terrific ball. I've got to say, terrific ball.
And again, you know, you're pointing fingers at defence there, but I think that's incredibly difficult to defend. Anybody that's putting that ball into that area, it's hard to defend against, no doubt.
Dundee have unsettled Celtic a little bit early doors. Good response from them. Got to say, they're getting on the front foot, getting in the faces of Celtic. So a little bit of pressure from the home side.
Almost some late drama in the North London derby. Tottenham did get that late penalty, made it 3-2, but unable to get a third to equalise. So a big win for Arsenal in the title race down there.
It won't help them. They'll still be second.
Man City 2 games in hand now.
Yeah, two games in hand. I think, was it 4 points behind with 2 games in hand?
It's amazing, those players down there, you know, 200, 300 grand a week, yet still fall to the pressure sometimes. But Arsenal keeping pace with City.
Another corner for Dundee. They have started very well in the second half, and Celtic better be careful.
Yeah, these are the periods that Dundee know they need to capitalise on, because you're not going to have sustained pressure against Celtic for the full half or large periods when you've got a spell like this where you're able to pin them back and win set pieces. If you want to get a result against Celtic, you need to make the most of these.
All about the delivery again.
Yeah, he's got a good delivery on his left foot.
Yeah, it's a good corner delivery as well, headed just wide. There's a big chance for Silla, but once again a really good delivery with the left foot of Owen Dawson.
Beautiful delivery. 6 yards out, he puts it right at the back of the 6 yard box here, and Silla
just battling with Alistair Johnson.
He's out muscle, Johnson. Simple as that.
Equaliser's coming.
Does Johnson do enough still to put him off, despite the fact that he's not won the ball?
I think so, because Silla's always stretching for the ball. He's a big lad. I think he would outmuscle most people, and it's sometimes that's what you need to give up. You need to give up a bit of physicality, but you need to still be there and just put them off stride. Johnson maybe does enough. Probably Silla should do better.
I've got to say, I think that's a difficult chance, Mark. You know, I think Johnson does just enough to put him off his stride a little bit there, but it's a danger. Listen, it's a warning for Celtic. They need to up the gears a little bit. Dundee have took the initiative here, starting to put on a little bit of pressure.
Yeah, Dundee still the team, the more positive outlook at the moment at the start of this second half. I think they've got another corner as well.
Yeah, well, that one more direct, right across to McGee.
I don't understand Celtic.
Kuhn back.
Why?
It's as if they don't understand the demands of the occasion here. That the first 8 minutes of this second half are all over the place.
Don't think they've had the ball much. I think you've got to credit Dundee. They've been more direct, haven't they, Hugh, in their approach? So even that one there, you know, it's a ball into a good area.
I'm not having that. I thought Taylor was in there. Is he trying to block the run?
I think it was Kuhn.
Yeah, the ball comes in again. This time the header is goalwards. Kyogo hacks it clear, and I think there was maybe a foul in there.
Yeah, free kick. But they're starting to knock at the door. They're starting to ask a few questions. Have we seen a lot in this here?
I tell you what, Greg Taylor needs to be careful there.
I don't see where the free kick is against Dundee there.
No.
Yeah, Greg Taylor's on the back of Silla there for no reason, both arms round him. He just needs to be careful.
Yeah, I think Silla maybe had a fistful of the top of Matt O'Reilly's shirt, was maybe what was spotted by John Beaton.
Yeah, but it's been scrappy certainly from Celtic.
I mean, Celtic can't get out their own half at the moment,
and Dundee's certainly up to tempo. They started very brightly.
Yeah, Jordan McGee surrounded by green and white shirts and just puts the pass straight out of play for a goal kick to Celtic.
Celtic look almost spooked start of the second half. They're disjointed.
When you look at that, it's the sort of action areas that it shows in terms of where the game is being played. Only 6% of the action has come in Dundee's half. It's all in the middle section or in Celtic's half, where Dundee are piling a bit of pressure for the beginning of this.
They're winning every second ball. That's where Dundee are being more successful here. They're picking up all the scrap balls. But I said that if Celtic can play their football, Dundee throwing more players forward gives them a better opportunity to get behind them, because they're well disciplined. Dundee, the minute they lose the ball, they get into a nice shape, make it hard. See, Kyogo for me's got to start holding the ball up a bit.
Mark, you mentioned Celtic maybe not really being able to put full performances together. Was this be a concern that this is sort of developing
Certainly
again for them today?
reflective of that opinion, yeah, without doubt. And the fans would have seen this all before, you know, that it was comfortable and it started the first half so brightly. It's been the opposite, and Dundee's really taking the game to them. Yeah, it's another free kick just around the half.
Stop start as well, which is maybe favouring Dundee as well, just been able to sort of work the set pieces towards the Celtic box and try and cause a bit of chaos.
And this is where the back four and the midfield in front of them have to stand solid. You don't get a game going all your own way, so in these moments they have to stand solid. And here's
real
a
chance for Dundee here, and it's defended in the end by Celtic. Liam Scales getting the vital boot, and I think the offside flag has gone up, so
By the way,
it wouldn't have
terrific
counted anyway
from Scales, because again, same as Butland earlier, he doesn't know he's offside. He still has to get in. It's very tight anyway.
Tight, yeah. And then that one's certainly not offside. So I think it was the first one looked marginal anyway, but Celtic did manage to clear the ball. So
Celtic can't get out. No, Dundee are just
lost it again. Dundee have the ball back and attacking in Celtic's half.
Only a matter of time before the equaliser comes.
You think there's an equaliser coming here?
Without doubt.
It's just whether Dundee show they've got the quality to put the ball in the back of the net. They've had 10 minutes of pressure now and not really forced a save out of Joe Hart, have they, for all the ball they've had?
And that's the difference. I think in the early game, you know, St Mirren carried that threat. They created chances that forced Butland into saves before they got their goal. So Dundee need to show similar when they're on top here. They've certainly got plenty of territory. Corner. Yeah, they're working it well, Dundee. Run about the Celtic box.
Just been forced to boot the ball away at every occasion at the moment, Celtic.
I don't know what's been said at half time, but Dundee have certainly responded to it, and Celtic went back the way. Can't get out their half. They're giving the ball away cheaply. Dundee's picking up every second ball, putting a little bit of pressure on. Just need to be careful, Celtic.
And for all that James Forrest was getting praise in the first half, he, along with the other attackers, just have not been seen once in this half
at all. Don't know even know if he's touched the ball.
Another corner delivery by Dodson, and
that's a big
should he have done better with a header there? Jordan McGee.
Matt O'Reilly gets caught way under the ball there, and Dundee should do better with that one.
Yeah, Celtic then trying to hit Dundee on the counter from the corner, but Nicholas Kuhn's ball goes to a Dundee shirt. But yeah, he just found so much space in the box from that corner, didn't he, Jordan McGee, and sort of stooping down to try and head it, just couldn't quite get the power he needed.
I think that's lazy defending from O'Reilly. I really do. I think that's a great chance. It's a great chance. They're asking questions of Celtic.
Yeah, and O'Reilly's got to see that and adjust his position. It's came from a long way, and there's enough loft in the ball for him to adjust his feet, but he doesn't. You know, he's stationary with his feet, and then he tries to jump and he's under it. It's a big chance for Dundee.
See, as much as we talk about Celtic's front three, I think the middle of the park is non-existent in this half.
Yep.
I've not seen Cal McGregor kick the ball. I think he's been very quiet. Hatate as well. You know that can change in a heartbeat because they've got so much ability. But I think the Celtics middle of the park need to start dominating the game. They're non-existent. O'Reilly, Hatate and McGregor are contributing nothing just now.
Yeah, well, Celtic winning a free kick just inside their own half there. Kyogo trying to break forward, fouled by Luke McCowan.
A welcome respite, I think that. I don't think they'll be in any hurry, Celtic.
Yeah, I think Brendan Rodgers will just be keen for them to get their foot on the ball and string a few passes together and try and work their way into this half.
They've got to, because they're barely strung 3 passes together. I'll try to keep it a bit now, but again, Dundee swarming them, and credit to Dundee, they look the more energetic side in this second half.
They are picking the right passes as well, aren't they, when they're going forward, Dundee, which you know, a lot is made about decision making, and that can be the difference between players at a top level and otherwise, but they are making the right decisions a lot of the time at the moment, Dundee, but have given away another free kick.
They look sharper for me.
Got runners as well. Runners forward.
Yeah, look sharper, look like they believe that they're going to get back into this game. Celtic just need to up the pace again a little bit, keep the ball, get that ball knocked about. They've taken a quick free kick there. Dundee players switched off. An opportunity. Need to get their wide players on it. See, that's slack for me. That is slack. That would frustrate the life out of me. Kuhn it's an easy ball. Johnson makes a great run. All it's looking for is a weighted pass. Just put a nice weighted pass there, and he kicks it out of play. Celtic have had enough already. Rodgers making 2 substitutions.
Iwata and Ida.
Yes, that will be the changes for Celtic. Would you expect Kyogo to come off?
Yep,
I would say so. I think they need Ida up there just to maybe go a bit more direct, I think, and allow him to hold the ball up.
Would you take Callum McGregor off?
I would take McGregor off all day long.
I would just now. But it could be any of them. It could be Hatate or McGregor.
McGregor's still working his way back to fitness. Hasn't played 90 minutes, has he?
And he's contributed nothing today. Let's be honest. We know Callum McGregor's a very important player and a very talented lad, but whether it's a fitness or whatever it may be, he's contributed nothing this afternoon. So I wouldn't be surprised if it is McGregor.
He came off in the 62nd minute last weekend, so it could be the exact same moment here that he maybe makes way. Brendan Rodgers did say that they would need to manage him for these final periods of the season. Obviously back earlier than expected against Rangers and played in that game probably because it was Rangers. I don't think they would have rushed him back if it was another game, but yeah, still easing his way back into it. Malky Boateng just picked up a bit of a knock there. Looks as if he might be okay to continue.
He's gone off there with Doc McCormick, who used to be the Celtic doctor also. Yeah, and the Dundee United one before that. Yeah.
Oh, you must
know spent a lot of time with him.
I certainly did. Me and him were great
Christmas
friends.
dinners.
Yeah, we went away to Germany, Munich together. Yeah.
McGregor and Kyogo make way for Iwata and Ida.
I think with McGregor, I think you'd rather start with him if you think he's close to fitness. I think just as a figurehead, you would rather start with him. But when you see he's been so he's not been influential at all in this game or the previous game, then you're right to take him off. You know, everybody is equal in these situations.
You know, he's gone off, he's a captain, he's the high profile one, that's the talking point. However, those beside him, Hatate and O'Reilly, have done nothing.
Yeah, I like Iwata. I think he comes on, gives him a bit of that steel in the middle of the park. I don't blame him for subbing Kyogo. I think Kyogo's been very, very poor today. Ida gives him a little bit more strength, a little bit more threat with balls into the box from wide areas as well, and we know he can finish.
Celtic look bereft of ideas.
I mean, they've not really had any of the territory to come up with any ideas so far in this second half, but they have won themselves a corner, so those changes have sparked a bit more of a positive attitude in the last minute or so.
Yeah, you just saw the difference with Ida there, because it was sort of 50-50 bouncing ball. You seen his strength, and he just shrugs the Dundee centre half Lammy off the ball, and he keeps the attack alive for Celtic. You wouldn't have got that with Kyogo still on the pitch just there, the way he was going about his business.
Yeah, the corner delivery comes in. I think Liam Scales it was that managed to get his head on it, but was kind of facing the wrong way, tried to flick it backwards, and it's into the arms of John McCracken.
When was the last time you saw Celtic do anything from a corner? You know,
did they score maybe three or from 3 set pieces against Dundee in the 7-1 or something like that? Yeah, they had the bad joy that night. Yeah.
That was in October.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to say, as much as we're picking on the middle of the park, and rightly so. 2 wide men have fell out the game.
Yeah, completely.
You know, it's up to getting a bit of service. I'm sure Forrest is a bit frustrated here because he had a terrific first half. He needs to get the ball. That's no good to him, but he does well there.
I mean, that was a simple 5-yard pass.
Yeah,
didn't make it.
Have been slack second half. There's something that you look at Celtic, one half they're really, really at it, sharp, and then the next half they seem to drop off it a little bit. I don't know what's going on there at all.
That will be a huge frustration for Brendan Rodgers, because when they come in at the break, they've created chances, they've got that goal. He'll have been hoping that's just a sort of platform to build on in the second half, and it's just completely flipped the whole game.
Yeah, without doubt. You wonder what would you prefer? Would you prefer a fast start and then take your foot off the pedal, or would you rather finish the game strongly? It's a hard one to argue, because we've seen both sides of it from Celtic. You know, you think back to, remember Fir Park, where they were so poor, but he brings Ida on at half time and they finish so strong. But equally we've seen games where, well, this is a prime example. I thought they were good in the first half, but they've done next to nothing in this second period at all.
That's good movement. There you go.
Celtic moving the ball better now, out to the right. Kuhn by his man, and ends up getting a corner out of it.
Yeah, better for Celtic. They started that down the left hand side, worked it out to the right. Kuhn had a 1v1, got to, tried to get to byline, but it's that right foot again. It's just like a hit and hope, because he's not really comfortable on it, but he's trying to put the ball in an area for somebody to attack it. They get a corner kick out. A better play from Celtic.
Yeah, Matt O'Reilly to take this one. They were hoping that it ends better than the last. A header from Liam Scale it just went into the arms of John McCracken. This one doesn't beat the first man.
Yeah, Riley's not been very good for the corner kicks today.
No.
I've got to say, he's not given the centre halves anything to go and really challenge for.
We will have the open line from 5 o'clock. Just giving you pre-warning. We will take your calls. Any thoughts on this game? Any thoughts on Rangers 2-1 win over St Mirren? Just general thoughts on the title race as well. You can give us a call. You can also watch the live stream of the open line as well. We'll be on camera from 5 o'clock, so you can see that on the Clyde One Super Scoreboard YouTube channel.
Well, it's a long day for Celtic all of a sudden. If they get the second goal, size of relief all round, but I'd fancy Dundee to score before Celtic.
Yeah, Celtic looking,
sure?
They've just robbed the ball there. James Forrest into the box,
Sure?
and he's got a big chance here, and Hugh Keevins has done it again.
Turn his mic off.
Dundee 0, Celtic 2, and it's James Forrest once again, moments after Hugh Keevins delivered a line like that.
You do that deliberately. Is that a talent, or what is that?
It's called Super Sunday.
Well, Dundee get it all wrong there. McKinnon to Portales, and they get it all wrong. But Celtic are alive and switched on to nick the ball back, and Forrest nicks it. It's a lovely little ball, but then two defenders getting away each other. The ball breaks to Forrest, fortuitous, but right man in the right place to tuck it away.
As I said of the St Mirren defence when they conceded to make it 2-1 Rangers, there comes a point in games when players at clubs like St Mirren and Dundee lose all concentration. The goalkeeper fell over the St Mirren defender. Two Dundee defenders collide with each other there. Pub team defending St Mirren and Dundee. Game over.
Yeah, it was Lammy and McGee both sliding in, getting in each other's way. The ball ricocheted off of both of them, and James Forrest just alert enough to anticipate that the ball was going to break to him in the box, and a nice finish between the legs of John McCracken.
Yeah, and plus the fact you take into consideration his first one was a terrific with his right foot. That's a left foot finish. He's still a bit to do. I know that he's favourite to score, but he's in good form. He's playing with a lot of confidence. He's not seen a lot of the ball in the second half, but when the opportunity fell to him, he's buried that. And you would imagine, unless Dundee can get a quick reply, Celtic, that's a 3 points in the bag and down the road.
The positive view for you though, 2-2 is still on.
Yeah,
it's still on.
Yeah,
you just never know.
I'll leave my hat if it's 2-2.
Well, as I say, I go from one mistake to the other with no loss of enthusiasm.
Oh my goodness.
They've been quite something today though.
Oh, Gordon Bennett.
The second half was starting to shift, wasn't it? Dundee had some real dominance for the first 10-15 minutes of that second half. Celtic weren't necessarily creating chances, but they had more territory. They did have more of the ball in dangerous areas, so they felt that it was maybe swinging in their direction.
Yeah, but I don't think it's anything to do with the Celtic defence being ropey or anything like that. The balance of the game just shifted, and Dundee took the game towards Celtic. And then you need your back four and your goalkeeper and your midfielders to hold strong. In that period they did. And you hope then that the guys at the top end of the pitch score and just alleviate some of the pressure. That's exactly what's happened. So just as the game was going one way for Tony Dock's side, it's a cruel hammer blow to them in this second half. And Brendan Rodgers will be relieved. Made substitutions, and whichever way you look at it, it's worked. It's had a positive effect.
A few people on Twitter taking pleasure in your predictions so far, Hugh.
Yeah.
Jason Coogans is asking you to keep your predictions coming.
Mystic Hugh.
Game's not finished yet.
Yeah. It's just your timing is brilliant for me.
Yeah.
Listen, you've got that down to a knack.
Every team needs entertainers.
Honestly, with that one, I think if someone had told you the exact second Celtic were going to score, you still couldn't have timed it better than you did.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's a gift.
Yeah, if I got to see him just scoring, it will be Dundee. Oops, 2-0. Maybe I got that one wrong, I'm not too sure. It was one of the ones, wasn't it? He was looking at you going, press the 8-second delay. keep that one out.
I would blame Andrew there, Hugh, because he could have helped you.
Listen,
he could have bailed you out, mate.
Listen, you all speak as if I have some regrets over this matter. I mean, I'm too old for regrets. I'm just happy to be here.
The one thing we should give you credit for, you've been championing all week that James Forrest should be starting for Celtic, and he's got 2 goals.
Comes good, 2 goals. He's the story of the day. You look at the performances of Celtic and Rangers today, I remain true to my belief the league is being contested by 2 average teams as Palma prepares to take the place of Kuhn, I assume.
Yeah, Lewis Palmer just stripped and ready to come on for Celtic with around 20 minutes to go in this game. Just the psychology of it as well. Dundee would have had their tails up with the way they were playing early in the second half to then concede, and in that manner as well will be a huge blow.
Yeah, I've rarely seen 2 games back to back where the second goal for Celtic and Rangers is as the result of just stupid defending, eccentric defending, call it what you like, but goalkeeper falls over defender at Paisley, 2 Dundee defenders crash into each other at Dens Park, and James Forrest goes off now.
James Forrest's afternoon is over. He's done his job. 2 goals for him on his return to the starting 11.
Let me tell you, he becomes a very important player in the run-in now, because he ain't got to be left out next week. On that for him.
It's astonishing that he's had so little game time.
It's amazing that he could now become such an important player for him.
Yeah.
Look, I keep going, people drive me up the wall because you're 30 odd years of age, you're finished, and you shouldn't be at the club and all that nonsense. He's a terrific player. He's played under a lot of managers as Celtic come again. There it is.
Off the post. Celtic's so close.
Hatati, that deserved a goal.
So going 3-0 up, Rail Hatati's shot cannoning back off Dundee's post.
Good play from Ida again there to actually initiate the move. Cut back to Hatati, showed good footwork. It was across McCracken, inside of the post, so close to making it 3.
Yeah, he's unlucky. He's very unlucky. Terrific skill from him. You know he's got it in his locker. He just picks up for Johnston. He just shimmies. He knows what he's doing. Control with his right foot. Goalkeeper beaten, all ends down. Unlucky, hits the post. That would have been the real killer for Dundee.
All ends down,
as opposed to
all
up.
ends up.
All ends up to I like to mix up a little bit. I'm like you.
Just looking at the stats for Celtic's wingers in terms of league goals this season, that's James Forrest now up to 5, the same as Daisen Maeda, only 1 fewer than Lewis Palma as well. He's got more than a few other of the wingers that have sort of been in and out the team as well. A good return for the lack of game time he's had.
Yeah, without doubt. Shows the quality of player he is. And in big games as well, and this is a big game when you score at this end of the season. These goals matter.
Well, all kidding apart, it's 2-0, but Dundee have their umpteenth corner of the second half, and Celtic have to be resolute here.
Yeah, another own Dodgson delivery. It'll be an in-swinger, seeing if he can cause Celtic any problems. There is an initial shot, and it's ended up in the back of the net.
How's that 2-2 looking?
With M&D Green Pharmacy.
Just like that, we talked about games swinging, and Dundee have one back. There's only 1 goal in it now. Portales celebrates. I think it maybe took a nick off of Adamida on the way through, and that will make the final 15 minutes or so of this game very interesting. Yep.
Yeah.
It's a mistake from Adamida, isn't it? Because Portales' his shot wasn't overly powerful, was it? At the second attempt, Joe Hart probably would have dealt with it, but Adamida takes a big swing at it, and it just diverts it past Joe Hart, who was already diving to his left.
All wrong there from Ida, almost like a cricketer being bowled there. He goes, he swings his leg, and he just catches his knee, and it's a dreadful goal for Celtic to concede there. Ironically, it was probably Dodgson's worst corner. It was low, it was bumpy, and they didn't deal with the first ball.
What I'd be asking, as much as it is a horrific goal for Celtic, why is he still in there so deep? if you look at the rest of the defenders, they're all
he's not pushed up at all, has he?
No, and he just takes a mad swing at it. It's a lifeline for Dundee. It gives them a bit of encouragement, and there's still plenty of time to go.
By the way, inches at one end, Hatate inside of the post, right up the other end to 2-1.
Can you ask the Twitterati about my predictions now?
You're still wrong for now.
I was being genuine, Hugh. You're still in the running. You never know.
Yeah, there are Celtic supporters who have turned off the telly and gone and walked the dog, even though they don't have a dog, because they can't bear to watch.
Even Brendan Rodgers having a wee glance at his watch here, thinking, how long to go?
The Celtic supporters behind that goal are in a state of panic.
Yeah, I think the mood would have shifted significantly just with that goal, because it looked as if Celtic would probably see this out without too many worries at all, as Joe Hart just about managed to clear the ball.
He could have done that first time there. Takes a touch, invites pressure.
They've just made it hard for themselves, Celtic.
If you get a bit of fortune like that, if you're Dundee, you've got to try and capitalise on it. Because I didn't think there was any way back for Dundee. They got a little bit of luck. They've worked hard. Maybe some people say, yeah, they deserve it. But they've got to go and try and just push on forward now. I still think Celtic, if there's another goal come, I still think it'll come Celtic's way.
You're trying to do a Hugh Keevins there.
Yeah.
I will wait until the appropriate moment, and then I shall say something.
So I was amateur stuff from you. The ball was nowhere near the box there. You need to wait until it looks as if there's a chance just about to happen.
No, I do think Celtic, I think they'll see it out, I've got to say.
Well, I'll hold you to that.
Dundee will feel, just given the way that they started the second half, and they have managed to sort of get at Celtic a wee bit. Not that they forced Joe Hart into loads of saves, but they'll feel that there could be opportunities for them. But Celtic, on the other hand, they'll also feel, with Rayo Hatate hitting the post and John McCracken forced into saves in the first half, that they might have another one in them as well.
Yeah, well, they know they can put Celtic under pressure. They've seen it in this second half, and that gives you spirit. That does give you belief. We talked about it earlier with St Mirren, with the chances they created. Dundee will be in the exact same boat at the minute. They know they've got plenty of time. They don't need to rush things. They just need to stay in this game, and then they'll get another opportunity.
Yeah, Dundee just
slack balls,
sending it clear, and Liam Scales having to go back to Cameron Carter-Vickers. Maybe it will be a bit more of an edgy final few moments just because of that.
I think
goal.
Edgy is the understatement of all time. There will be panic. There are 12 regulation minutes and probably another 4 or 5 beyond. Panic now for Celtic.
I've got to say, since Celtic lost the goal, I think they've responded very well.
Yeah, Lewis Palmer stabbing the ball towards the back post. That goal all the way through. I think Dodson maybe got a touch on it.
He feels the decision should go his way, but the officials have given Celtic a corner of the correct.
Yeah, he's in a good
Dodson.
position, because that's a great ball from Palmer, just flicked into the back post. You need your full back tucked in tight there, because Kuhn's coming in behind him. Does enough to divert it behind for a corner. Matt Riley's delivery has to be better though.
That's a good delivery, but
Dundee able to get it away with a couple of headers.
Yeah, I just think there are too many lightweights out in the park for Celtic now. Kuhn, Palmer. You're really looking for the battle-scarred veterans now to get this over the line, but long way to go for Celtic.
Do you think you'll bring Yang on, Hugh?
Well, that would be the final.
Please, I would love that.
That would be the suicide note.
Oh, then he scores.
Another big game down in England not long kicked off. You're recording this one, Gordon, your old side.
Yeah,
Nottingham Forest, Man City.
We'll batter him.
Well,
that's what all the ex-players do, don't they? It's we. They want a club tie. Does my head in. I know what I've done at City. I was a legend.
Legend. Is that how the fans remember it?
No, really, no. It's just in my own mind.
Do you mean legend as in myth rather than legendary?
I was great in the City Centre, let me tell you now.
Name will go down in history for very different reasons, I suspect.
That was most of my best performances.
I think Kevin De Bruyne and Phil Foden might have a legal case for the word legend. Another corner for Celtic, which will come to nothing, and then we can get on with the rest of the game.
And a lot of corners on both sides in this game.
Yep, Matt O'Reilly with another delivery, outswinger headed towards goal by Cameron Carter-Vickers, but Dundee get it away for now. It's Rio Hatate's ball in, Luke McCowan away.
Celtic just try to keep the pressure on, try to work it into the wide area.
What's that?
Is that Kuhn again, or was that Taylor that time?
I thought that was
it Taylor?
I thought it was Taylor, mate.
Maybe Taylor on the wrong side there. Yeah,
could be wrong.
But it was a poor ball. It just needed to keep the pressure on. We've seen St Mirren today, run about the box, being patient and coming out. Exactly what Celtic needed there. But it's been scrappy. It's been poor in the final third, I think, for Celtic in this second period. I know the score, but that's a bit fortuitous how it came about.
I think they're now in territory the same as Rangers at Paisley. 3 points and get down the road. Get down the road.
These two games today are maybe a bit of a sign of what we might see in terms of just the edginess, bit of nervousness from both sides, that maybe the games towards the end of the season won't have a whole lot of quality.
Especially away from home. Definitely. And look, you have to price into the thinking as well that you're playing the top 6 teams, so they always carry more of a threat than if you're going away to Livy, who won't lay a glove on you, or I was going to say Ross County, but that proved different for Rangers. You're playing against teams who have had a good season. Dundee players will be feeling good about themselves because the season they've had, same with St Mirren, so it's a bigger challenge, no doubt about that.
Scales is beginning to look as if his head's swivelling, not really sure where he is. Very, very dangerous times for Celtic. And the game's a long way from over.
Hugh, they've not had a shot at goal since they scored. How's it dangerous?
Oh well, when my 2-2 comes up,
Poor Scales got it there. What was Scales getting it for there?
They certainly could got the part and score a goal. I'm not denying that, but what I'm saying is they've not had a shot anywhere near Joe Hart since they scored. So right now it's not dangerous times. But they're quite capable of
you're going to have to regret that if they score, if Dundee scores, Hugh's going to be on you big time.
You can't say he's not had a save to make.
It could be quite a day for Hugh if what preceded both of Celtic's goals and then you got a prediction right on top of all of that as well.
Here come the flaky 4 again. They're trying to clear the ball.
Cameron Carter-Vickers dealing with it pretty well.
Just a good
defensively
player. Just a good player. You got to say £6 million was it for him?
Yeah, 6.5
a
maybe.
loan, and then £6.5 million. It's great business, that. Try before you buy. I like that policy.
Yeah, I like that myself.
Don't know if it's worked with Bernardo. Enough.
I usually try, but I never buy.
Would you expect Bernardo will depart in the summer, not to be seen?
They're not going to pay £6 million for a guy who sits on the bench consistently. He had a wee purple patch round about the time Celtic went to Dens Park on Boxing Day. It was a good wee period, but not enough.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's
from
Joe Hart, and maybe a chance for Dundee to get this into the Celtic box and try and get a shot.
I'm all from building from the back, but you've just got to realise what's the best option, and that certainly wasn't the best option for Celtic.
You've got to realise as well, there's no grass in the 6-yard box, so when Scales gets that and then decides to play it back to Joe Hart, bobbling with a man running at him, it's not the right option at all with 6 minutes remaining of the 90. So Celtic have invited this pressure. They're facing a long throw in here.
Yeah, the long throw comes into the box. It's fallen into a bit of a dangerous area, but Celtic will be able to leave with the ball. Luis Palma loses out to Portales.
It was a good long throw, that, fairly flat, hard to defend, but they do well to get it away.
It's a bit staggering that Palma, when he come on the scene at first, everybody spoke about his numbers and how good he was. Lately, I don't know what it is, offered absolutely nothing.
The goals and assists have dried up. I think even during that period,
I know he was injured, wasn't he? He had an injury, and I accept that, but I remember watching them when Kilmarnock beat them in the league down at Rugby Park, and I just kept focusing on him. Oh my goodness, it was dreadful.
Because I do think even in that period where he was scoring and assisting, it wasn't as if he was, setting the heather alight and putting in brilliant performances and being the best player on the park, but he was making telling contributions. But he's been in and out the team, he's had injuries, he's not contributing on the sort of numbers front as he was in his early days at Celtic.
No, he's a flash player, and I don't mean just he likes to be flash. He plays in flashes, really. Moments in games.
What was that noise from Gordon Dalziel over in the corner? That was.
We might need the SSB physio to have a look at this guy. He's bumped his knee on the desk.
Get the sub warmed up. Oh, that is just so.
How did you even manage that?
I don't know. I've stretched my leg. Oh,
it was just a very concerning noise that I heard from the other side of the desk, and then you disappeared.
Oh, can we get some ice in?
A bit of pain, a good bit of pain there.
I feel a bit of
okay?
swelling. Yeah, I'm back in business.
There's Michael Mellon on for Dundee, boy who knows his way to goal. Anxious faces in the Celtic end.
Yeah, has scored off the bench a few times for Dundee since arriving in January.
I just look at Celtic's front three: Kuhn, Ida, Palmer.
Long balls.
The flaky four were okay there.
Gathered by Joe Hart.
You think they've been flaky today, Hugh? The back four in 86 minutes.
I've seen them flakier, but
what an answer! What an answer!
I mean, the goal they concede, Hugh, is
it's nothing to do with the back four.
It's poor force. It's either just misjudging that and a bad error. But I think the back four,
but the
done okay so far.
Yeah, they've not given up loads of chances. Joe Hart hasn't, had his goal peppered either.
But the point I was originally going to make, the front three, how's that going to get you over the line?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, they're winning this game.
But
still winning it though. We talked about Rangers earlier on. It's all about winning the games.
Lightweight
performances aren't necessarily key to it.
Here
as long as you're getting the results.
Here comes the equaliser.
Liam Scales puts that one
corner
out for a corner to Dundee.
Four.
Less than 3 minutes to go of the 90. There will be a few added as well.
I would say there, and I think Scales has to do better with that clearance. It's on his right foot. I know it's his weaker side, but he needs to direct that out for a throw in, and it's come off the outside of his foot, and it's away for a corner kick. Dundee, big team. Look at the size of Lamy and Silla in there.
To Cameron Carter-Vickers as well, who does really well in the air, doesn't he? Generally, for him not being the tallest centre back out there.
All over Joe Hart here. We've seen this at McDermott Park earlier.
Yeah,
failed to deal with
poor delivery by Derek Costello. Doesn't beat the first man at the corner.
Yeah, you want to put that right on top of the Celtic goalkeeper. We saw him struggle in that game that Celtic struggled in earlier on in the season, and they got a goal, St Johnstone, that day. Dundee needed similar there. Poor delivery, but
get
a chance to throw it in. By the way, this is hard to defend. This is hard on the corner to defend against.
I'd run up to stand and ask Fraser to do that for me. He was an expert. Brilliant, honestly. Great.
Throw. It's a really good launch as well. Made it into the 6-yard box, and Scales did well to head away.
Well, it's certainly tense. There's no doubt about that. The Celtic fans in the stand behind the goal will be feeling it at the minute.
Yeah, but as much as it's tense, and I do agree with that, you take away the fluke that Dundee got. Joe Hart's not had a save to make.
But it doesn't alter the fact that it's 2-1.
I know that, but he's not had a save to make.
But the game's still in progress. So what he's not had to do so far is not.
Yeah, but my thing is, do you really see Dundee unless it's a bit of luck scoring a goal?
An injury there for Rayo Hitati, who's down. It was just caught late, wasn't he, by Ricky Lamy?
I should have just let that play there. John Beaton.
Yeah.
The ball's been played wide to Kuhn, who's got a 1v1. Very rarely do you see that stop him. Maybe Celtic just want to kill time here.
Yeah, pulled it back for the free kick. And we'll find out in a few moments. I think the fourth official's just picking up the board, ready to tell us how many minutes.
How long we thinking here, boys?
5 minutes.
Can it be 5?
Why?
I've hardly been in trainers on. Many subs.
They've had about 6 subs. Great feat that from.
Yeah, it's nice by O'Reilly.
And then kicks out the pitch. Johnson out of position. He'll certainly need Watt or someone like that just to fill in for him because he's right in the touchline.
I've got to say, it's a typical Celtic performance. First half, sharp, look good, everything about them. Second half, looks like different teams coming out the tunnel.
John McCracken's kick
that's a free kick.
Sliced into the air for 5 minutes added.
Well done, Mark Wilson.
I know my stoppage.
Absolutely, yeah. You're in the game. You get the stopwatch.
I think, is he giving a free kick to
because
Dundee?
I think
Just obstruction.
Obstruction, yeah.
Is he not outside the box, though? Are you not allowed to do that?
You can't stand directly in front of the goalkeeper and block them from kicking the ball. You can sort of stand there, but if you make a motion to try and block the ball from being kicked, then free kick is given.
Okay,
good play.
He did as well there to
stay in that corner.
No, for 5 minutes. A long time.
That's a long time.
Frostbite in there for 5 minutes.
Bertiol could have.
Bertiol was something else, but
this is where Celtic just need to be patient. Kuhn needs to do better than he has done in this second 45. He does keep possession.
Better with me on than him.
Then Kuhn.
Yeah.
You on to Kuhn now.
Look at the state of him.
We'll be hearing from Kuhn's lawyers.
By the way, what happened there when you said that was him just controlling the ball normally on the touchline.
By the way, what a touch it was.
Luis Palma whips one just wide of the mark.
He frustrates the life out of me, Palma. It frustrates the life out of me.
Will that frustrate Brendan Rodgers as well? Is that the time where you just need to hold on to the ball rather than take a sort of pot shot from the edge? I mean, it's nowhere near as well.
Right.
Is it?
An awful effort.
You've got options. Keep the ball, keep it back in, or take it back through over the other side and just run down the clock. 2-1, you're out of there. You're still top of the league. You're still in control of the league. 3 points, but try to hit a spectacular is not for me at all. Bad game management.
Yeah, well, Celtic are the team that do have a bit more of the ball in these final stages. Dundee trying to win it in midfield and break forward, but it's like a nice pass on the turn by Hatate, and Celtic have a bit of an opening here. Matt O'Reilly threads it through into the box for Ida.
I'll tell you what,
no one there for the cutback.
I think Palma should have done better with the run there.
I think he picks a wrong thing out there. Hugh, I keep going back to it. You'll need to tell me where your confidence is that Dundee will score, because they can't string a pass together.
Wait,
I don't know.
Celtic are the same.
Thinking here, though. I mean, it's an easy help up the line there, and he puts his goalkeeper under a bit of pressure. Joe Hart does well, but it's only as far as the halfway line. It's a foul, and that'll invite pressure right onto the Celtic back line.
Hugh.
He does have a shocker since he came on.
I think Hugh, you'll do a Ravanelli if Dundee score here. The cardigan over the head.
No, he'll run round here and give it to me. He's waiting for me this afternoon.
Oh well, by the way, this is tense. Dundee haven't created a lot, but when you're in the 93rd minute and you're facing a free kick, by the way, those Celtic players will be feeling it.
Yeah, deep free kick. It is about 40 odd yards out. Luke McCowan standing over it to deliver with his left foot towards the box. Can Dundee create that opportunity? And there was a header in there from Michael Mellon, but it goes just wide of the mark.
Has he got to do better there? I
think he's got to get that cross goals.
Yeah. I think it just comes off the wrong party's head.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good opportunity.
But the Celtic backline that occasion, too many gaps between them. If you're going to defend like a 7 or an 8 in a straight line and drop together, then there can't be any gaps between you to allow the Dundee players to go between. And there's 2 Dundee players in between Awata and maybe Taylor there. That's how the opportunity comes about.
Fleeky.
I think just a combination of Joe Hart and the Celtic support there, taking their time to get that ball back into play, which I'm sure Celtic fans will be happy about, trying to waste as much time as possible.
They've got a minute or two to see this out, and if you don't do that, then I'm sorry, you deserve to be under pressure.
Yeah, Dundee have a throw in around the halfway line, and you'd think
surely get the long throw in, guy.
Get it into the box
from the halfway line.
Surely, he could probably still hit the Celtic 18-yard box.
He's nearly in the 18-yard box. He keeps walking down. Look at
it was in their own half, wasn't it? And he managed to take it about 15 yards into Celtic's half.
Celtic are now just kicking it anywhere.
You can hear the fans screaming about that as well. That's something fans love to scream about, is players stealing yards at throw-ins.
I don't know. There, Kuhn wasn't the bravest there, Hugh.
Yeah, well, one final ball into the box towards the back post, and it goes beyond for a Celtic goal kick. And you'd think, with 10 minutes of the 5 of injury time to go, that will be it, and Celtic will get the 3 points by the same scoreline that Rangers did earlier on.
Yeah, and they'll accept that. Second half's been ropey. Joe Hart been booked for time wasting, but in their first half performance, I think Celtic deserved to win the game, because as much as Dundee have been better second half, a deflected goal, Joe Hart's not really had a save to make. I know that Celtic certainly haven't been battering down Dundee's goal, but Forrest gets the goal that probably gets them the 3 points.
Yep, and they'll take this. A long ball from Joe Hart, just headed out, throw in, and really that should be that. So both teams, not perfect performances from both, but effective, and just what's needed at this time of the season. 3 points is key. Well, it's like Celtic have got the job done here to match Rangers.
I've said all week, Celtic and Rangers will be difficult, but they'll win their 2 games leading up to the Will Firm game.
Well, that is the full time whistle has gone at Dens Park. Fraser Wishart has the story.
It has gone. It's Dundee 1, Celtic 2. A deserved win for Celtic in the end, but they had to work harder than they would have liked, especially after the first half performance, and James Forrest had them ahead at the break. Dundee came back into it in the second half, but as the game looked over, when James Forrest got his second in the 67th minute, Dundee pulled one back to give the Celtic fans some nerves. From the kick-off, the Dundee goal was under real threat. A whirlwind start by Celtic John McCracken. The Dundee goal had to be smart to save 2 Nicholas Kuhn efforts. He cut inside and hit 2 identical shots with his left foot. Good saves by the big keeper, who then had to push away a Greg Taylor back post header. And that was all in the first 8 minutes. But the goal came in 29 minutes. A pass into Kyogo's feet in the box. He missed control of it. The ball bounced up beautifully into the path of James Forrest, who volleyed home from 16 yards. It was a lovely strike. McCracken didn't even move. Dundee had a couple of chances. The best was when Dodgson crossed to the back post and Bakayoko got onto the ball. He didn't make good contact, though. He should have done better than just turn it into the arms of Hart. I think Brendan Rodgers would have wanted a second to give them some comfort, but at the second half, at the start of it, was Dundee who were on the front foot. Portales got his foot to a dangerous McCowan free kick. He should have done better than just turn it into the arms of Hart. Then Saylor had a big chance. He headed wide from a Dodgson corner, and McGee was next up, another Dodgson corner into the back post, and he should have done better than head into Joe Hart's arms. Celtic offered little in the second half. Fans are kind of a wee bit concerned. Brendan Rodgers responded. 2 changes, Ida and Iwata on for Kyogo and McGregor, and in 67 minutes they did get that second goal when James Forrest scored his second. He drove into the penalty box. Lammy and McGee challenged them, but they actually got in each other's way, and the ball broke beautifully to Forrest, who hammered the ball home with his left foot. 72nd minute, Ida did well on the right hand side, set up Johnson, who then passed to Hatate, who made a yard, struck the shot really well and hit the post and cleared it 3-0. It would have been all over, but 2 minutes later Dundee made the game more interesting. Another Dodgson corner. This time Portales turned the ball goalward. Didn't look much harm in it, and as Ida swung his foot to clear it, he just hit the ball into the back of his own net. Celtic fans now a bit quieter, as he knew another Dundee goal would put a big dent in their title hopes, but Celtic back four defended well, and the Celtics saw the game out comfortably in the end, and that's another tricky away game ticked off. 4 games to go and 3 points ahead of Rangers. Full time at Dens Park. Dundee 1, Celtic 2.
Yes, the action is over, but we are still here for another hour, and we want to hear from you. 0141 951 1025, whether it's your thoughts on Rangers' victory against St Mirren earlier on, whether it's your thoughts on Celtic's victory against Dundee, maybe general thoughts about the title race as well. We want to hear from you, and you can join us on the live stream as well. Go on YouTube, search for Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard, and you can watch us there as well. 0141 951 1025, and we'll take your calls next.
After the action, it's your reaction. 0141 951 1025. Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard's open line.
Yes, a 2-1 win for Rangers earlier on against St Mirren, and a 2-1 win for Celtic against Dundee. So it's as you were in the title race today after victories for both sides. How do you reflect on it all?
Well, you reflect on 2 teams who got the job done, but in a highly unspectacular fashion. I stand by my belief that this championship has been contested by 2 very average old firm teams. In the history of those 2 clubs, there cannot have been as average a pairing as they put up now. But that doesn't matter. All that matters is that Celtic have a 3-point lead. They play Hearts now at Celtic Park, a team who have beaten them home and away this season already. Following day, Rangers play Kilmarnock, and they will both be tested because they're not good enough to assume anything.
Yeah, I mean, both teams, it wasn't really done in style by either Celtic or Rangers today, but the main thing is in a title race is to get that 3 points, move on to the next game.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, both managers, coaching teams and players know what's expected at this end of the season. With 5 games to go and pressure huge on their shoulders, and both of them know that they're facing each other twice. These games are just about getting the job done. And they went about it in different fashions today. I thought Rangers were under more pressure. I agree with Daz in that, but more pressure within the game from a St Mirren side that were brave going forward, and they got the job done. Celtic, I thought, approached the first 45 minutes very well, but again took a step backwards instead of forwards and allowed Dundee back in the game and made it difficult in the closing periods. However, 3 points for each of them and on to 2 very difficult games next week.
It was about 2 players for me today. We criticised Dessers for his overall play, and he steps up with the winner. He's a centre forward, he plays with Rangers, that's what he's there for, and he produced, and it's a valuable 3 points. It's all about the 3 points. You then flip that to Dens, a man that came on last week, James Forrest, that a lot of people thought his Celtic career was petering out. He's now become a big player for Celtic in the run in. 2 terrific goals today, and while he was on the park, still played very well indeed. I think both managers, we said it all week, St Mirren away, Dundee away, it's always got to be difficult. It's all about the 3 points, and they've achieved that.
Dalziel Maida's return for Celtic cannot come quickly enough for Brendan Rodgers, because in the latter stages of the game there at Dens today, you've got Kuhn, Adam Ida and Palmer, and poor old Adam Ida came on and had a personal nightmare. He scores the own goal for Dundee and couldn't have kicked doors at Halloween for the remainder of the game with Celtic. And the players in the wide positions, Kuhn and
I don't think Adam Ida was Celtic's main issue today, though.
No, I'm not. I'm saying that the front three, you need more than that. Too lightweight. And when Celtic were under all sorts of pressure.
Then earlier on we were talking about Rangers, it not being a great performance, and how does that look going forward? Should that concern fans? And the view was, Rangers have won the game. They've did what they need to do. Does Celtic not just do exactly the same today as well?
Yeah, as we analyse the Rangers, I'm just analysing Celtic. But they both get the job done. There were scrappy performances from the pair of them. But this is a league that's going to be won on the back of scrappy performances.
I think personally, I think there's a worry for both teams going forward. One, I thought Rangers were off it today, right? And some of their players were off it. If you look at that, then you look at Celtic, they've got this reputation now of one half's good, one half's bad. That would worry me. But I said earlier, and I've said it from the split fixtures, I think Rangers and Celtic, especially with home games next week, will win both their games, and I think Celtic Park becomes so important.
I said earlier on, it is as you were at the top, but with every game that passes, if Celtic and Rangers continue to win, they both win again next week, is it just more advantage Celtic the way it goes, just with the way the league table is and games running out?
Well, of course, and every passing away game, if you like, away fixture, because we always see those as banana skins for either Celtic or Rangers. Then of course it favours Celtic. They're ticking off the games one by one, and Rangers have to keep pace with them until they meet at Celtic Park. So it's a different challenge for both next week, because you've got home expectation on your shoulders, and again at this time of the season isn't the same as home expectation in, say, mid-September, where you've got a Kilmarnock or a Hearts coming at you. It's a home expectation that you cannot slip up, so the players have to deal with that threat.
In my opinion, Andrew, it's quite simple for Celtic. They've got 2 home games coming up. Win both of them, you'll be crowned champions. It's as simple as that. But what I will stress here is it's 2 difficult games, because Hearts have finished third, rightly so, and get good players. And then you've got Rangers. So as much as it's easy to say on paper, 2 home games, 6 points, wins you the league. Of course it will. But 2 difficult.
It's the 2 most difficult you can get, really. That's it. Hearts have been there, won before, taking points off Celtic, beat them at Tynecastle as well, and you've got your main competitors in Rangers. The two most difficult games of the season are coming in the next couple of weeks.
01419511025 on the phone lines. First up is Mark, who's a Celtic fan in Hamilton. Mark, what did you make of that performance today?
Scrappy again. We're obviously taking the 3 points and coming back into Glasgow again, but I want to speak about the 4 guys at the back again. They're just all over the place.
The flaky 4.
I was going to say you and Hugh will get on well, I think.
The flaky 4, Mark.
Yeah, the left side at the centre half and the left back are just no up to it, and it's been like that all season, and unbelievable. And then the other thing I'd like to talk about is
we'll take that point first, Mark, because when you look at Celtic's performance today, they didn't give up too many opportunities. Dundee did have spells of pressure at times. There were sort of balls over the top that maybe weren't dealt with, but it's not as if Joe Hart was having to pull off save after save.
I don't buy that. Honestly, everybody's entitled to their opinions. I didn't think Celtic's back 4 were bad today, right? They lost a goal, and the goal was lost because of a centre forward that was too deep and made the wrong decision. But apart from that, I think they protected Joe Hart. I don't think Joe Hart had save after save, terrific save. I says to Hugh, and we're having a bit of fun, where do you think the goals come from? Because they were contributing nothing in the final third, Dundee, for me. Yeah, they had a wee bit of pressure. So as much as you can maybe argue in days gone by, yes, Celtic against Aberdeen, 3 goals, and they looked a bit ropey. Go be game. Today, I didn't look at Celtic's back 4 and think, oh, they look really shaky. I thought Celtic's back 4 were okay today.
The goal came from a bit of a freak moment, really, from Adam Ida, who just sort of sliced at the ball and it deflected past Joe Hart. But do you think that the back 4 were the main problem today, Mark?
Listen, I don't know what Ken Gordon watches, but I tell you, he's watching a different game for me.
Well, tell me what they done to give away chances, or Joe Hart was under pressure today.
Time the two. It's not so much about getting away chances, Gordon, right? We're looking for guys that can come out with the ball and play the ball. We're looking for guys that can header the ball when it gets into the box. We're looking for we've got 2 guys that couldn't. They couldn't put their left foot in front of their right. The 2 of them are that bad.
If Adam Ida doesn't,
they are great football players.
I didn't say they're great football players. I'm going by game the day. I looked at Celtic's back 4 today, and I didn't think they were terrible. Or I thought if Ida doesn't take a swing at that and put the ball in the back of net, they're probably leaving there with a clean sheet this afternoon. So if you take that goal, which was a freak goal because the ball headed in, why he's even in there I don't know, but he takes a swing at it, ends up in the back of net. Take that out of the equation. Did Dundee really cause Celtic that much problems?
In the remaining matches, I agree with Mark. In the remaining matches, 4 to go now for Celtic. The main area of vulnerability will be at the back for Celtic. They don't exude confidence. They don't make the supporters feel a sense of belief in them. And they've got Hearts and Rangers now. Shankland, who's a particular thorn in their side. Now, having said that, the same applied to Rangers today. All across the back 4, they were highly suspect, which only underlines my point that you're watching 2 bang average teams contest the title.
What was your second point you wanted to make, Mark?
Game management. It's unbelievable. We're sitting there the day again in 91, 92 minutes, and we're still trying to score a third goal. I don't know what they talk about. Like say at the break or even before a game starts, if you're up 2-1, 3-2, whatever it may be, there's no looking to score another goal. We're trying to see the game out, and they just constantly go into wings and pass the ball back into the box to Dundee or whoever they're playing, and let's say get back up the park again. Game management is atrocious.
There was that moment where I think Lewis Palmer took a bit of a shot from the edge of the box where he probably was the wrong decision, but it's the main thing that Celtic just did see the game out and they got the win.
I'm sitting here, Andrew, listening to this. I'm amazed at what I'm listening to. Here, this first call from Mark. Celtic have won 2-1 away from home at Dundee with the pressure on their shoulders from Rangers winning previously. Mark's one complaining about the defence, which I totally agree with Gordon Dalziel a bit. I don't agree with Hugh one bit about the shaky back 4, the flaky back 4. I look at a team who've conceded 27 goals this season in the league, They've had their injury problems, maybe mismanagement in the transfer window with Lager Bielka signing. They've Rocky Mike come in. They've had a real finding Scales, but Scales has found himself now in the space that he's a fashionable player just to criticise, just because he's not Carter Vickers on the ball. And I think I would agree with the Celtic fans with that. He's loose in possession quite a lot of the time, but you're entitled to want better in that respect. But what Scales did today, I thought, was defend his box well. And that's what you need to do when you're away from home as a Celtic back four player. I said it repeatedly on the show. When you're 1-0, you're going to come under pressure. And can Joe Hart and the back four stand up? And barring that Adam either swipe, they would be able to walk away with their head held high. So let's concentrate on what we've seen and not, can we do better in Scales? Well, maybe they can do better with Scales, but they've got Scales just now, the Celtic fans, for the last 4 games. So get behind the players rather than slaughter them.
There was a lot of people out there, and including guys in here as well, thought that today either Celtic or Rangers would drop points. And I can totally understand that point of view, because it was 2 difficult games. Now, you can pick holes in both teams, of course you can, but we're now at a situation where this is all about winning games. And I thought that, as I said, Rangers battered away the day at Paisley. It was difficult. St Mirren were up for it. Desser's come in for a lot of stick. He got his reward. He got his winner. Well done to the lad. I thought Celtic first half today were very sharp. I thought they looked good. Everything about them. Probably should have went in more than one, right? Dundee had a bit more possession in the second half. But I didn't look at... The only thing I'll agree with Mark here is, yeah, I think sometimes, like Palmer when they had the shot, game management, get it back out, just run it into the corner, see the game out. But I keep going back to it, and I says to Hugh, where is your confidence? Because I couldn't see Dundee scoring an equaliser. And that's down to the fact that I thought Celtic's back four was okay.
Well, thank you to Mark on the line. Brian is a Celtic fan in Moss Park. Brian, how did you view it today?
Hi, just a quick retort to the last comment, the last guy. I see his point. This is old Jackie Jakanowski against Partizan Belgrade or Tirana. But my main point of James Forrest, I recall, hopefully you can recall this as well. About 6-7 years ago, James Forrest wanted to leave Celtic because he felt he was injury prone, he wasn't active enough. He wanted a transfer request, not because he wanted to leave Celtic, because of his points. And he's scored in like the last, God knows how many seasons. He's just been a total enigma for us. He's been totally brilliant. He's been like the guy, two-footed goals, left foot, right foot. I wouldn't lie as well. Me and I thought he should go on as a sub rather than start, but we were proved wrong. And he's just been totally brilliant for Celtic over the seasons, and he's not got the credit he deserves. And he, as I said, they want to leave Celtic because of the reason I've quoted earlier.
Yeah, I think a lot of people probably thought James Forrest wasn't really going to play much of a part for the rest of this season. He looked out the picture. He wasn't making the bench at times, and all of a sudden, you know, he's been spoken about in glowing terms by Brendan Rodgers. He's in the starting lineup today, scores 2 crucial goals, and it now looks as if, I mean, is he now sort of undroppable for the next game?
Well, you know, he's certainly the guy in form, and why would you leave him out at this stage? You know, you can call it whatever you like, Indian summer, re-emergence, regeneration, anything you like. He looks as if he's really enjoying himself. He has a real sense of purpose about him, and he took both his goals exceptionally well. And as I say, I think he's a human being. He's enjoying this belated attention that has come his way, with people saying, look, we need James Forrest, as opposed to, why have we got James Forrest in the team? And I think right now, that's the reason why I certainly would not contemplate leaving him out under any circumstances.
Right now, Hugh, you've got to say, right, and it's very easy because you're sitting here, he's been given an opportunity. In my opinion, and you look at the wingers that Celtic have got, I think James Forrest is better than anyone.
Yeah.
Right? In my opinion.
Brendan Rodgers has said that himself, that he's the best winger at the club.
100%. Now, it's up to why Brendan Rodgers hasn't played him in recent games. That's up to him. He's the manager.
The excuse he gave was that he doesn't think that James Forrest can play with the intensity that other wingers can play at. But when you look at his performance today,
So
does that say differently?
So nobody will tell me James Forrest can't play with that, because you look
Brendan
at
Rodgers was telling.
But you look at and Hugh's favourite, Yang, and I still say it, I think we're too hard on him. He's a young boy, he'll come into it. I think it's another season or two. You look at Kuhn today, right? Intensity, I didn't see it.
No.
You look at Palmer when he comes on, intensity, didn't see it. So James Forrest still has a lot to offer Celtic, and he's starting to show that. James Forrest will be a massive player for him to run in, and he'll definitely, surely play next week.
Even if he's not showing or can't show the intensity, whatever way Brendan Rodgers worded it, if he can't show that, is the fact that he is contributing in terms of scoring goals and having big moments in the limited time that he's on the pitch, can that just weigh it out, essentially?
Yeah, well, I don't think it's any coincidence the positions he finds himself in today when he scores his goals. His game intelligence is first class, and that's what you get when you get a 30 plus year old winger who's got the medal collection and the experiences as James Forrest has. He knows when to come off the line and come inside. He knows when to stay wide and keep his width. His movement's great, his work rate. He'll never let Celtic down in that respect. And I will agree with the guys at this moment in time, he does look your best bet. With Dyson Maeda out injured, he is your best bet in the wide areas, and he's every right in keeping his place. I can't see how you leave him out.
If Maeda is fit to play against Hearts, and that is the expectation, I would have Forrest one side, Maeda the other, and I'd still go with Kyogo, because I still think he's a better player than either.
Brian, does James Forrest now have to start Celtic's remaining games, or certainly the next one anyway?
As I said earlier, I thought he was a better from off the bench, but today proved me wrong. One thing I would say is, form is temporary, class is permanent. He's done it for so many years. I'll end it on that, lad. I've always loved Jamesy boy.
I think plenty of Celtic fans feel that way today. When you look at the way that Brendan Rodgers worded it during the week as well, he was saying that James Forrest would have a big contribution on did he say whether it's on or off the pitch towards the end of the season? He was maybe not giving it away whether he was going to start or not, but having that experience certainly off the pitch will help, but on the pitch as well, along with Callum McGregor, when you're in a title run in and players like that who have been there and done it, can that be a big thing?
Well, of course it can, and you know what, it's up to players to grab their opportunity when they get it. Now we speak about young players grabbing their opportunity when they get the side, in the side, or players who've come in the transfer window grabbing, but also works for players who've been at the club a long time and found themselves at the picture. James Forrest has now been given an opportunity by Brendan Rodgers, and he's spoke him up perfectly well. Up to James Forrest to go on the pitch and prove him right, and he's certainly done that in the last couple of games, and he will start against Hearts.
I don't think off the pitch, right? And I know that's all cliche with managers off the pitch and whatever, right? I've heard it a million times. James Forrest doesn't look, Mark will know him better than me, James Forrest doesn't look that sort of character in about a dressing room, in about players, right? James Forrest
he's got people by the throat up against
right,
it.
Yeah, he'd be lucky if he talks to him. James Forrest is all about producing on the pitch, whether he comes from the start like he showed today, whether he comes on like he showed against Hearts in the semi-final of the Cup, Aberdeen, he's still got a lot to offer. And I keep saying it, stop writing experienced players off, because managers have picked this guy for year in, year out because of his ability. James Forrest hasn't lost all that ability. He showed that today.
Whatever you say about James Forrest, one thing is undeniable. At the moment, he's the good luck charm.
Well, thank you to Brian. That is the view on the Celtic game, 2-1 winners over Dundee. Rangers fans, we want to hear from you as well. What do you make of that victory over St Mirren? Give us a call, 0141 951 1025.
The talking begins. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboards open line.
It's a busy day in Scottish football, a big day for the title race, but it's as you were at the top. Rangers 2-1 winners against St Mirren earlier on, and then it was a 2-1 win for Celtic against Dundee as well. Get in touch, 0141 951 1025. You can watch on the live stream as well, whether that's on Twitter or on YouTube as well. We'll hear from Andy on the line in a second, but let's hear from Philip Clement talking about Rangers getting the 3 points today.
To do the right things, we did in moment right things. We didn't do the right things in the beginning of the game. Because of that, we get their pressure and they get belief and hope. After these first 15 minutes, Then we took control of the game and we were much better. Then you're leading, then you get a goal against that we need to avoid. So they get belief again. And the second half, we were better, creating more. But Jack has been also really important in the first half. So at the end, it's important to take the 3 points, to go home, and to know that you have 4 finals to go in the league. And it will be game by game, going full to get the 3 points. Also happy with, again, how the players came in. Players who are not starting to give the energy to the team and to make the difference. And I think Tom Lawrence was really unlucky with an amazing comeback of Gogic, and all the respect towards him also, how much he kept believing to save this ball on the goal line. So if you score there, the third goal, you have a different end of the game. Now there stays some excitement, because every long ball, there's a duel and a fight for second ball, and again. But I think you guys love that there's a lot of excitement until the end. So in that way, Gogic helped you guys.
Yeah, there was another big display from Jack Butland, wasn't there? A couple of big saves from him. There was the clearance off the line at the other end for Alex Gogic as well.
Yeah, I'll be amazed if Jack Butland doesn't win Rangers Internal Player of the Year, and he proved his worth today. Some fantastic saves in the first half, and look, Philippe Clement's right in his assessment. I don't think he can pick too many good things from his team other than the character they showed to get the job done, and get the 3 points, because that takes a lot. And he's right to highlight Gogic. It was a tough game for Rangers, but the 3 points is all that matters, and Philippe Clement just about says that.
If you summarise the day for the pair of them and take Philippe Clement's words into account, the performances don't matter, the results do, and that's just as well, because the performances by the pair of them today were unimaginative and mediocre.
Andy is a Rangers fan up next in Finniston. Andy, what did you make of that from Rangers today?
Hi guys, you just stole all my thunder there. I thought.
Oh no, on you go. Tell us.
I'll take you 3 points, but the performance was nowhere near good enough. Honestly, I was hoping for a good one today, and I think Jack Butland was our man of the match, because of some of the saves he done, especially the one the boy thought. They see the boy, the spinning boy, going, how did he save that? But I was really, really disappointed with Rangers today. I just thought they started off slow again. They nearly scored. The defence, I think Cantwell may get past marks, but some of the passing and the concentration today was just pathetic.
Philippe Clement said in that clip there that there's 4 finals to go for Rangers. Does that performance concern you going into those 4 big games, and then of course a Scottish Cup final as well?
Big style. I mean, I thought after we beat Hearts, we're going, right, we'll turn a wee corner. I thought today, try and get at least 3 or 4 goals. I know that might sound a bit silly, but I'm going, right, we'll turn the corner now. We'll get back on. But no, today, I was so... I get fed up watching Rangers sometime. It depresses me.
They're grinding out results. Let's be honest about it.
I mean, they haven't been grinding out results. That's the thing, though. It's their first win in 4 league games.
I didn't even think they looked that sharp and great against Hearts last week in the semi-final. But cup games are all about getting to final, and you've got to congratulate them on that. They don't look as sharp as what they should be. They've got some good players in there. He's chopped at defence a little bit. He's left out one of the most experienced defenders from Rangers for a long time. The games he's played, goals in all the big games, and fans will probably look at it and say, yeah, it's the right decision, right, okay, fine. But middle to front, they don't have that zip or sharpness that I think you're looking for going into these 5 cup finals that the Rangers manager's talking about, because they're massive games. But look, they find a way to win. You look at today's performance, not great. Butland, the one thing they've got in their favour is they've probably got the best goalkeeper in the league, right? So when they need a big save, he's the man that produces it for them, keeps them in the game at times. So that's a real plus. But the good thing about them today was they battled hard, they kept going, they waited for a chance, and your man Dessers, you can say whatever you want about him, he scored 20 goals. And people still criticising him. His overall play today was terrible, I've got to say. But he's a Rangers centre forward. He's there to score goals. He's there to make headlines. He achieved that.
Can you see there being a change of personnel going forward Andy, you're obviously frustrated with some of the performances, or do you think it's maybe a change of attitude that's needed, or the guys that are starting, the ones that you would start?
Well, I just can't understand why the team have took that. I mean, all the Ross County, the D game, but I just don't. Their attitude today, I'm going, what he's playing at here, we need to go in. I just, it's so annoying. And I could give it Gordon. Dessers was terrible, but he scored a good goal. But he wasn't getting a lot of service. But I just feel, you go, what he's playing here, especially at the back. The four guys at the back are getting the ball away, they're trying stupid passes, trying to dribble the ball. And so why are we doing that? Just start playing football, Rangers, but they just could not get into a rhythm today at all.
Because that's it, no footballer goes out to be intentionally slack, Mark, but there will be other factors that mean Rangers aren't playing at their flowing best, but it's trying to work out what they are, whether it is the pressure of the situation they're in or other factors.
Yeah, pressure they're in, loss of form for some. Philippe Clement's made the right decision, in my opinion, with Connor Goldson. I don't know if the pressure's really affecting him. I think that's just into a loss of form. Tavernier going forward shows his worth yet again today. That's why he's on the side. He gets down to the byline, a terrific cross, and it yields the winning goal. But defensively, he looks like the pressure's on his shoulders defensively, and you've seen that in the opening stages. So you've seen the best and the worst of James Tavernier at times today, and there's a few players in between that as well. You look at Lundstrom's, he performing at his best? Is he suffering a wee bit of a loss of form? Because I think Lundstrom's been decent this year, but in the last few games he's been quieter. So it's a combination of both, and you don't want it to drag on in the last 4 games.
The similarity in the performances of Celtic and Rangers is quite remarkable today. And Andy, a committed Rangers fan, saying watching Rangers is sometimes a hard watch for him. And Mark, the first caller, the Celtic fan, who'd complained about everything about Celtic today. So the supporters are restless. 4 games to go, and they don't have implicit belief in the teams that they support.
Andy, does Philip Clement have a big decision to make it in the centre of defence, because Connor Goldson has been dropped for the last couple of games? John Souttar maybe looked a bit shaky at Hampden against Hearts. Leon Balogun was at fault for the goal that St Mirren scored today. How do you see that unfolding sort of next week and beyond?
Balogun had a great game against Hearts, and I said that's great, he's playing today, but then you watch him today and you're going, no, there's about 2 or 3 times he gave the ball away or tried to. So it's a hard one for the Clement to say, right, who are we going to bring in? So, my head's buzzing, I'm just like, what's he going to do? Is he going to stick with who had a bad game today, or bring Goldson back in for the next? So it's going to be a hard decision for me to make.
Yeah, because he was speaking in glowing terms, I don't know whether it was last week or the week before, about the options he now has at centre-back with Ben Davies back fit, and he's now got 4 central defenders that he feels he can rely on. But then, since then, Connor Goldson's been dropped. There's been mistakes from the 2 that played today, certainly, Leon Balogun today. And, how do you see Philip Clement dealing with it?
If it was me, I would look at the best partnership that going forward, who is going to be the best 2 in that centre defence. If you look at Celtic, when Celtic were conceding a lot of goals, everybody was saying Scales and Carter Vickers are the best 2 centre backs. I keep going back to the facts and the stats that everybody now uses in football. When Rangers were at their best defensively, their best 2 centre backs was Goldson and Balogun. It's fact there. They got compliments every time they went on the road. They were very hard to break down. They're hard to beat, hard to concede. Don't get me wrong, I totally take on board Goldson has lost a bit of that form, looks a bit shaky, but sometimes I look at Souttar, looks shaky. Sometimes I look at Balogun today, he's defending for St Mirren's goal, was shaky. So I think you've got to get the right balance. Now, whether he believes that Goldson can rekindle that form, because Goldson's a good player and a good defender, let's not get kidded here. A lot of people write him off because he's been dropped again. It's like the James Forrest scenario, very quick in judging. I would look at where I think my best 2 centre-back pairing is, and I keep going back to it. When Rangers were very defensively solid, it was Goldson and Balogun.
So Rangers are shaky and Celtic are flaky?
Could be you. That's a new one for you.
Well, thank you to Andy. I think we can hear a bit from Brendan Rodgers, first of all, on Celtic's performance today.
Pitch was difficult, it was bumpy, and so it was always going to be a challenge or to play fast flowing football, but I think at this stage of the season it is about getting the results. You can see here Dundee have a fantastic season, made it really difficult for teams, so yeah, we got ourselves into a really good position in the game at 2-0. The own goal gives them a little bit of hope at the end, the last sort of 15 minutes, so but what was pleasing, seeing the game through and pick up a vital 3 points.
Michael is a Celtic fan in Erskine. Michael, what did you take away from that performance and result today?
Well, it's the result. That's the main thing. Performance, it's not good. I think, if you remember, I was one of the first ones on to say, should Brendan Rodgers apologise to Celtic fans right at the start? And I said they should. So, on that note, you know I'm not a big Brendan Rodgers fan on his return. I think we're just going backwards. I think we had a couple of seasons under Ange where we're playing some attacking, one-touch football and just really good football. So my kind of main question is, on this current squad this season, there's a lot of kids that idolise football players. Who do the kids idolise in the Celtic team right now? Is there one player that you think that the kids want to be or want to play like? I just want to know your opinion on that.
It's not really a priority for Brendan Rodgers, I'd have to say. But, my grandkids, for example, Rio Hatate is their idol. Kyogo, because he's a goal scorer and kids like goal scorers. But you, Michael, are one of that group who cannot forgive Brendan Rodgers because he left while the season was still in play. I thought it was harsh at the time. I thought his comeback to Celtic, the behaviour of some supporters was deeply questionable where Brendan Rodgers was concerned, and I remain of that opinion. If Brendan Rodgers wins the title, and it's going to be won by the team that makes fewest mistakes, then is he not entitled to your thanks for bringing the title to Celtic?
Well, you probably have to say yes, we want the title, right? But the way we are playing football now, we are just, he's took us backwards. I've been a Celtic fan for a number of years now. I'm not going to tell how old I am. But the way we're playing football now, you're thinking, how are we still in the title race? We should have had this league wrapped up by now, but we've let Rangers back into it. And to be fair, they've not been playing the best either. So where are we?
In a sense, Rangers let Celtic back into it by losing at Dingwall, drawing at Dundee, losing to Motherwell, drawing with Celtic. So, as I say, it's going to be won by the team that makes fewest mistakes.
I've got to say, it's remarkable negativity here. We are watching a title race that everybody moans about, that we want a title race. By this time last year, it was wrapped up, done, nothing to play for, boring. Yet all we hear is bang average sides. The Celtic fans not happy, Brendan Rodgers taking them backwards. Rangers fans, Rangers are a hard watch. We're in the middle of a title race. Is there any positivity? Who do Celtic fans idolise? Probably every one of those players. Depends what position. If you're a forward, you'll idolise Kyogo. Hugh mentioned Hatate, outstanding midfielder. What about Matt Riley? Up for Player of the Year. Cal McGregor, a guy with a cabinet full of winners' medals. James Forrest. What is the point here? What point are you making with that?
See, the only thing I think...
Let Michael come back in.
Yeah, we're idolising here. We're idolising a player, James Forrest, that, don't get me wrong, it's been a magic service for Celtic, that has to come on and score 2 goals.
But that's his job. He's signed for Celtic, that's his job. What do you mean he has to come on? That's his job.
He started today and scored 2 goals.
Well, look, listen, Brendan Rodgers has signed so many players. Where are they players right now?
Well, the recruitment policy is and was a disaster. That's why the head of recruitment resigned, and all that will be addressed in the summer. But 4 cup finals, as Philippe Clement describes it, So there's no point in going, yes, the transfer policy was horrendous. Judgment. Do me a favour.
I thought Celtic played the first half okay today.
So did I.
I thought they were sharp. I thought they created chances. I thought they got out the blocks. Dundee made it difficult. They got a terrific goal. Probably should have went in a little bit more. The worrying sign for me, if I was involved as a Celtic fan, would be the fact that it's usually a 45-minute spell, and then the next 45 is not good, or the first 45 is not good, then the next. It's combining it together. But if you look at Celtic today, I actually thought first half they looked very good on a bumpy pitch, as Brendan Rodgers was saying there. And the flip of the other coin, what Mark's saying, and it keeps excitement going, Rangers weren't at their best, but they go to a difficult venue and they come away with 3 points.
People forget, going back to when I was playing for Dundee United first time around, the Celtic greats and the Rangers greats and the title races that they had, they still slipped up. They still dropped points at Tannadice when I was a kid playing against us. And, you know, Celtic, Henrik Larsson from time to time didn't have his best game, but Celtic still got across the line at Dens Park and, you know, with scrappy wins. That is part of a title race. And supporters have selected memories sometimes. And I remember Ange Postecoglou for his fantastic football. He was a breath of fresh air. There was games in there that was drab, and he had to go to the 90th minute for people to bail him out. So it's the same for both teams. There's so much negativity going about.
I think what we need to get away from is, you had I don't know who it was, Rangers fan come on and said, I was expecting us to win 3 or 4 of this.
Exactly.
Right, you're going to a Paisley, a top 6 team who's been terrific this season. You know they're going to battle, you know they're organised, you know they're going to fight for their lives. They're going for Europe as well. Listen, it doesn't work that way. Because you're Rangers and Celtic, you ain't pitching up at every ground and winning 3 and 4, 5-0. Occasionally you will do it, because if you're hitting the right form and they're off it and you're right on it with the players you've got, of course you can punish teams. But it doesn't happen every single week. Sometimes you've got to find different ways of winning football games.
Michael, do you not take any positivity in the fact that Celtic are just 5 wins away from a double this season?
No, listen, I think a positive that we won the game today, but the way we played, our first touch is terrible with every player. I can't see. Obviously,
James Forrest's first touch for his goals like bad, really.
That's what I mean. That's selective. And Brendan Rodgers, Michael's just explained to you how bumpy the pitch was. Surely you could see that. Anybody could see that watching it. So that just goes out the window. That's you don't take that into account.
Professional, but these guys play football day in, day out. They should be able to play football on a bumpy pitch. That's just a terrible excuse.
That's just a nonsense. That's an absolute nonsense answer. These guys are professional footballers, so they should just have an immaculate first touch. See if every one of these Celtic players had as an immaculate first touch as you say, they wouldn't be at Celtic. They'd be at Real Madrid earning 300 grand a week. So get real with your assessment of what you've just seen.
Well, thank you to Michael. Final call for you to get your calls in: 0141 951 1025.
After they play, you have your say. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Into the final part of today's Clyde One Super Scoreboard. A lively end to things for the final.
The mushroom's about to explode.
We're giving him 2 ibuprofen during this.
I've calmed down. Move on, get someone else on.
See, Gary's a Celtic fan in Kilsyth. Gary, how are you tonight?
I'm just I'm bewildered by some of the Celtic fans' calls, honestly. Like, I'm with Mark, what he's saying. Just so negative for some of the fan base. I just don't get it. Today's game, I thought first half we played well. Second half we kind of sat back and allowed Dundee on us, which was probably going to happen because they're chasing to get into Europe. So I think it would be a different game. Obviously, if Ty hit the post to make it 3-0, then the game's completely different. Clean sheet. It looks as if it's been an easy afternoon. Then obviously towards the end, when either scores their own goal, it's nervy. But I don't think Dundee actually troubled us a lot. Joe Hart didn't, from what I remember, didn't really have a save to make. So on that note, I just think some Celtic fans just expect us to go out and win 3-4-0 playing brilliant football every week, and that's just not going to happen.
Do you know something, Ags? I think that's a great point. See if Hattati scores that goal.
Yeah.
I don't think we're getting the phone calls that we've got. I think people will come on and say, yeah, good for the result today. You go to a difficult away ground, you win 3-0, happy days. We're looking forward to Hearts and Rangers
games. There's a kind of post-Ange Postecoglou feeling among some Celtic supporters. Not far from all of them, but some of them. Oh, it was much better when Ange was here. Well, sorry, Ange is gone. He's in North London at Tottenham. So Celtic are trying to get over the line here, and I think fans somehow expect perfection in every game. And if they cast their minds back, even in the season when Celtic got to Seville, they lost the league in the last day of the season. Everyone goes on about Helicopter Sunday. Celtic lost the league on the last day of the season, having been one up at Motherwell, and that's because they failed to get across the line. It might not be pretty, but this team are trying to get across the line. At times it certainly is not pretty, but there's only one object to the exercise for Celtic and Rangers: to win the thing.
Gary, despite what other callers have said, are you still feeling positive, confident heading into the final 4 league games in the Scottish Cup final?
Yeah, I do. I think the fact that we've ground out the result today. We've only lost 2 games since December. We're winning games and we're creating chances during the games. Same as I said, it's a different game if that goes in. And it's the same on the other side of the city. Rangers are grinding out results, and that's going to happen. On a positive note, I'm glad for Jamesy Forrest, because he deserves to start today, and his goals just show why he's such an important player. And I think there's that. I don't know if it's because he's been there so long and he's Scottish. If Jamesy Forrest if we'd signed James for big money in the summer and he was doing what he was doing, fans would be loving it. But there's just a stigma within our fans because they feel as if he's finished but he's not. Like, today shows he's going to be probably one of our most important players going into the last few games.
To go along with that, Mark, he's maybe not the most fashionable player in the world, but do you think because of that he does get overlooked by some?
Couldn't agree more with Gary and all his points he's made, and I think he hits on a great point at the end with James Forrest, because he's a homegrown player who's been there for many years.
Fans always kind of want something that's new and shiny, don't they?
Of course, and flash and come with a big price tag and with an international reputation that isn't Scottish. If James Forrest was Swedish or whatever, Spanish, it'd be a different case. So I totally agree with Gary, but he can't be overlooked for the contribution he's making or has made at the club and made today and will make in the remaining games. And even if he doesn't score from now to the end of the season, his contribution, game intelligence and touchstone, he's going to play a big part.
Well, he's won the game for them today.
Yeah.
I mean, he's maintained the 3-point lead at the top. Therefore, when you do the reflective piece on how the league was won, this day might be the most important day.
I would see the argument, Hugh, if Celtic brought in the wingers and you go, oh, that's a class above, right? I would see the argument in that.
Yeah.
I don't see the class above James Forrest with it, right? Now, if I was picking the Celtic team, and I know it's very easy to say because he come on against Hearts today, right? James Forrest probably now is better than most of the wingers Celtic have got. Right? And I'm not writing the wingers off. I think there's a settling in period. They might come next year, get used to Scottish football, everything to do with Scotland. Of course, some people hit the ground running, some people take their time. James Forrest is a serial winner. He knows how to play with Celtic. He can take the pressure. He's been picked by manager after manager after manager. He's scored in 15, 16 seasons. And he can still produce, and we've seen that today.
Well, thank you to Gary. We'll be able to squeeze one more call in. Ricky is a Rangers fan in Cumbernauld. Ricky, how are you feeling tonight?
Hi, panel. How are you?
Good, thanks.
I guess, listen, I'm trying to remain positive. I think at this stage of the season, I do partly subscribe to the notion that it's important to get the 3 points. But I think at this stage as well, I think post the Hearts game, I expected a bit more of a performance for the team. And I think defensively, of chopping and changing at this stage of the season, which I'm not convinced that I like. I still think Rangers' best centre-back pairing is Balogun and Goldson. Definitely for me, I think Suter has looked really ropey, I think, the last 5-6 weeks, particularly. But to me, I think, even though I know Balogun was at fault today for the goal, I still think he's probably our best defender when you're looking at players attacking you, whereas I think Goldson gives you a wee bit more from a passing perspective. But I think today, as I said, it was about getting the 3 points, but it's probably 2 main points.
I'll take that point first, Ricky. When it comes to the central defenders, does Philip Clement need to pick up Ayring and stick with it for the next few games? Can you be chopping and changing when there are such big pressure-filled games coming up?
Well, Mark, I'll let Mark answer that because he played in defence, he knows, and me personally, I think a partnership in the middle of defence with 5 cup finals, as the Rangers manager says, come up 100%.
I'd have to agree with that. I think he should just pick who he thinks is best. As Daz thinks it's Goldson and Balogun. Clement in the last 2 games, he thinks it's Balogun and Suter. But I get the point. Suter, it's been a good few mistakes in there as well. Yeah, none of them have been perfect, let's be honest. But Balogun, I would agree with Ricky. Actually, Balogun looks the strongest defender at the minute, even though his mistake today. What about his challenge? When he gets round Alasanya, another header right at the back post, it's important. So I think he's in the running. Who partners him is a big question. What was your next point, Ricky?
Just two quick things. I think for me, that right now there's probably one player that I feel really sorry for, and that's Dalziel Sterling. I feel sorry for the guy because he's played this season, I think, off the top of my head, left back, centre mid, and now left wing. And I think to me, the boy's clearly not a left winger. There's no doubt about it. It's like putting a square peg in a round hole. And what does it also send as a message to the other wingers at the club that are fit? To me, it tells me that they're not good enough. So just quickly the last point, 'cause I know you're running out of time. John Lundstrom is another one for me. Why, if he's not signing a new deal, he's clearly dropped a lot of form. You've got Nico Raskin on the bench, who last season was probably our best player, arguably, with the exception of Tavernier. And he's not getting anywhere near the squad. He's a young guy who you can build your team around, and yet Lundstrom seems untouchable for me in the middle of the park, and I just don't get it.
I tend to take the view that if Nicholas Raskin is not getting a game, that's because Philippe Clement doesn't think he deserves to get a game. So if you've trusted the manager's judgment this far and credited him with making Rangers a championship contender, where they were a championship also ran when Michael Beale was there, then I think you have to trust the manager's judgment.
Just on Dalziel Sterling, quickly, how tough is it for him to show his best when he's been moved about all the time?
It's got to be. You need consistency and you need to build yourself into a team, and for him it must be incredibly hard. But it goes to show what Philippe Clement thinks of him. He thinks he needs to be an ever-present in that team.
Very quickly, Hugh, how do you sum up today?
Well, they got the job done. That the phrase applies to both of them. There will be no perfection. There will be no silky soccer. It will be a battle over 4 games to decide who wins the Premiership title. So, extinguish all laughter. Prepare for takeoff.
Yes, thank you to Ricky and to all our callers. We're back tomorrow night. Kenny Miller and Roger Hanna in the studio. Remember, if you want to catch up, you can listen to the podcasts wherever you get your podcasts, and you can watch the whole thing back as well on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter by searching Clyde 1 SSB, and stay right there because the UK chart show is up next.
Guess what?
What?
Sky gave me a 1-month free trial of Sky and Netflix.
Stop.
No, it's true. There's great shows like Mary and George and House of the Dragon on Sky and The Gentleman and Bridgerton on Netflix.
Go on.
Plus, with Sky Stream, you can control your TV with your voice.
Get out of here.
Seriously, go to sky.com and get your own free trial today. Wait, hang on. Where you going?
Gotta go. Lots of telly to watch.
New Sky TV customers only. Requires Sky Ultimate TV subscription and minimum broadband speed 25 megabits per second. £31 per month after trial unless cancelled. Terms apply.